to check some stuff, but we are live now.
Okay.
I should probably get like a starting page so we can at least have somewhat of an intro. But what's up, guys? We are trying to get this show on the road, but we are missing a our boy Herbie. He is well, he's having technical difficulties, and hopefully they will be figured out eventually. I mean,
Happens to the best of us.
yeah, we'll see.
But he is like the peanut butter to our bread. And we need our peanut butter in here.
Yeah, he'll jump on a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. And there's audio. All right, sick. And the stream is working. So, there's a bunch of fun stuff we got on the docket today. Herbie's our main guy that went to Field Fest, so I don't know a ton about it. So I was hoping he was going to talk about it. If he isn't here, then it'll be kind of hard for us to say something about it. But hopefully he gets in here and we can talk about that event. Obviously, the biggest event of the weekend, though, was the biggest drift event of the year in Drift Masters Poland. Honestly, I think it was one of the best drift events I've seen in a minute.
Really? Even though it was a wet track?
Yeah, and I'll go into why. What's up,
Okay.
Malik? And there's yeah, we'll get into it a little bit. It's kind of difficult somewhat because I can't really show footage of it. Last week we got hit just from playing a Red Bull video, so apparently
Damn.
we're not allowed to play Red Bull videos. So, but yeah, so I mean, obviously we can talk about it. I got the standings up. There's other ways to go about doing it. What's up, Zero? But yeah, I'm kind of just wasting a little time here. Hopefully Herbie gets in here.
Yeah.
He's having webcam issues, and it apparently won't let you join the call unless you have a webcam. So
Interesting.
yeah, but but
I I'm used to the technical difficulties. I'm normally having audio issues
mm-hmm.
and apparently my connection to the internet is really bad. So I apologize if I look like ear.
Yeah, yeah, you know, it's it's okay though. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you just sit there and smile, we'll all be happy. So, um, but honestly, the first thing in honestly, well, that's what we're gonna talk about first is the Poland stuff. Drift Masters as a season in general was quite a fun one. I would say. We had some obviously Lori Heinenen's been in the mix the past couple of years of trying to get close to championships. Finally won
Right.
it, obviously, but Dwayne
Awesome.
McKeever not necessarily. I think he was top five. He might have been fifth place last year, or he was up there for a good part of the year last year. So he's a guy that he'll have good years and bad years. A lot of it depends on his car. He's a guy that his car is usually the thing that fails him.
Right.
So it was pretty cool to kind of see him pull it through and get that second place overall in the championship. And obviously James Dean with still missing around and being competitive for in the final race was
That's
incredible.
crazy.
So
Yeah,
really cool
that's great.
story. I mean, and then we can go down the list. I mean, Connor Shanahan. I mean, every interview I saw this dude, you would have thought he would have had the worst season ever, but comes out in fourth place,
Really?
which I don't think. Yeah, like every interview I've seen of him, he's just like he's like, oh, I just want the season to be done. Like he's just like he's super
Damn.
bummed just with how because he had a rough start to the first round, couple rounds,
Yeah.
good car issues and stuff, but like still ends up in fourth, which I think is a pretty good
You
stat at
would
the end of the
think
day.
some dudes, like, first of all, you never know what someone's got going on, so there might be something else that he's like upset about,
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, when these drivers are at this high level of competition, a lot of them are just like, if I'm not first, I'm last mentality. So
yeah,
like it might just be like fourth is not good enough for him.
right,
So,
yeah,
and you got to appreciate that a little bit.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
look at the comments just to see if we're missing any.
Oh yeah. But just a bunch of people, saying hi. We'll get to some questions and different topics in a quick second here. A couple other guys that are right up there with Pavel Korpelinski. We got Kevin Purser, Kevin Pascolti, a bunch of these. I guess you would say they're all Eastern Europe for the most part. Poland,
Yeah.
Estonia, and Hungary. Um, that's really cool that kind of group is now, obviously Peter Visik's from Poland too, but
Right.
um, that's kind of your next group or clump, I would say, of drivers that are kind of making their way, pushing to get higher up in those rankings. And because if you look at the top, it's Finland with Lori, and then you got three Irish drivers, which is crazy that a little island can just create drivers like this.
It's created some of the best guys in drifting, which is amazing. Like, I love that. I just find it so fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
one of the most exciting FD rounds was Orlando, and that was like the all Irish final. That was a huge deal, you
Hmm.
know. But it's cool. I mean, it's nice to see. My favorite part of like the non-driving part of Drift Masters is everyone just representing their own country in the stands. Like, it's giving soccer game with like everyone with the flags, and like they get to root for the driver from their own country, or like I guess hoping drivers from the same country are finishing nicely. Like, that's so sick to me. Maybe that's what FD's missing.
Well, the thing with FD is you can't really have that,
Right.
It
Because you're
doesn't.
not like
You're in one country the
international.
entire event,
Yeah.
so that we've kind of gone over that too. It's like
Cause
you can't, because there's no really state pride for the most
right.
part when it comes to
Could you
like a
imagine
sport.
just like New Jersey state flag? Like,
Yeah, so I mean, it's not quite like a college football or
unreal.
anything like that, but
Yeah.
um, and honestly, this is it's been a fun year to watch though, and to kind of see Lori Heinonen finally win in such a dramatic fashion though, and in the
Yeah.
craziest
I
thing
love
is
that.
he probably wouldn't have gotten the championship if that track was dry.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said the only reason that car's making it around the track at all is because it was wet, because it was down on power, and obviously it blew
Gotcha. I was
up
just
by
gonna
the
ask.
time
Yeah.
his last battle, as he like literally rolls across the line to win that battle, which which is the crazy thing, because if he would have blown up that car like 100 feet earlier in that run, the finals for who wins the championship would have been between Dean and Dwayne in the finals, which would have been
Dude.
nuts. But it was just the battle
That's
for second at that point. But
yeah. Drifting is that is one of my favorite parts too about it is just the fact that like anything can happen at any moment. And someone blowing their engine up 100 feet later is like changing the outcome of the entire point series. I love that.
I mean, it was such a cool story, and the thing,
Yeah.
Lori is not a very emotional person, at least on camera. But it was
Yeah.
kind of see him actually show some emotion when he won the championship, and like really got excited. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of his demeanor though is very,
Right.
very. What's the word?
Just calm,
Yeah,
flat.
calm, collected. Doesn't
Yeah.
show a whole lot, but yeah, no, it was cool to see, and honestly, it led to even the Dwayne and Dean story. Still, when made it to the finals, it was great. But honestly, let's just get into the first big thing that they did, and that
Okay.
is they decided to wet the track at the beginning of the event, and they were going to do it for the entire event.
Yeah. I have strong feelings just because I hate every single part of driving in the rain. I don't like doing it myself. I don't like watching it. I don't like working on cars in the rain. It's so slow to commentate on. So I'll just be a hater over here. And
Well, what's different about this track is, and a lot of the time when you're drifting in the rain, you're drifting on uh, a track that's been drifted on. So there's rubber already down, and you're
right.
drifting on wet rubber. The
which
very
is
unique scenario that this track has is there is no rubber on the ground. So I felt like yes, they were driving in the wet, but it looked like there was grip out there, especially because they weren't drifting on rubber for the most part. And
true.
there was patchy parts and stuff, and every once in a while you'd see smoke in one of the runs, but um, I didn't think it was very slow in comparison to regular rain drifting, which is usually really boring and slow.
Yes.
And I thought the track suited it, even if the track wasn't like um what's the word? Even if the track wasn't like huge or anything, it seemed to still lend itself to be very entertaining going the speeds they were going in my opinion, and the chases that it kind of created because of the this I guess it's the slower nature really made it so that if you weren't on literally tapping someone's door basically the entire track you lost. And
That's love that.
so I thought that was really cool to kind of
Yeah. I
and
think it was a good call by them to think ahead and come up with a solution because it would have been way worse, I would assume, if they had
mhm,
practiced in the dry and then like, oh, we have to close the ceiling, so now it's wet. That would have been terrible.
yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't so normally when you have wet drifting, right? There's rain happening. So there wasn't constant water on. Maybe that's why they were getting a little bit of grip there. It was just, I assume they would just wet it down and keep it
Mhm,
the same kind of dampness, for lack of a better word.
yeah.
So I think, I think that's pretty good as far as wet drifting goes. It's probably one of the better rounds for it.
Yeah, and the thing is you can also see the cars a lot better.
Yeah.
You see the corrections. You see when they tap the wall a lot better. You see when they're tapping doors, and like you can't hide things very well when you're drifting in
It's
the
true.
rain. So I thought it made for some very. I made it, in my opinion, it made judging easier. Because you could see everything. Whether it was Peter Visick tapping the wall, which made him hit Adam LZ for the battle for third, and seeing that pretty clearly because there was no
Right.
smoke there,
Right.
made it an easy call. Like stuff like that was, I think, kind of a big benefactor to
Yeah.
watching the event because pretty much every call I agreed with. There might have been one or two I was like, we could have liked to seen it one more time there or something, but
Yeah.
um, there it made it so that for me judging was a lot easier because you could see the car the entire lap and what it was
Right.
doing. Um, Granted, I do like their judging in general, usually a lot,
Yeah.
but it was just one of those things where
Taking smoke out of it is a huge factor because normally dealing with smoke as a chase car is like the number one thing, if not the number two thing that you have to contend with when chasing. So now the fact that there's no smoke at all, like that's pretty crazy. I mean, I guess you might have to deal with water. That could be an issue, but I wouldn't say that it's like in the same ballpark as the amount of smoke these guys are normally putting off.
yeah, and like you gotta like this track last year. Obviously, they were running with it full grip, and I think that I mean they were having kind of smoke issues last year because they had to get some of the I think it was like 7 or 8 of the biggest fans in the country at the event just to get
I
it out of
remember
there.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so some insane like work had to be put in just to get rid of the smoke. So it actually seemed like it made the event run a lot smoother, ran a lot faster. The day were drivers weren't going through tires. I don't know. I think there would have been a lot more gaps in the dry competition
Yeah.
of drivers getting gapped with the grip and all that kind of stuff because we really didn't see. I mean, especially like top 16 on, there was no major gaps that I can recall for the most
True.
part.
That's a good point. I don't think I can think of any either.
Um, from guys running around, there were some guys that had to use less angle to catch up,
Right.
but there were no cars just gapping people. Or the other cool thing is that there's no major crashes because of the speed they were going, and probably some of the visual side as well. I think the only one that I can think of is Adam Zelensky spinning out and Lori, I think, hit him.
Yeah.
I think it was. Um, but like I think it made the event run safer, if that makes sense. Obviously, because you can see and you're not going as fast. So when you
Right.
were hitting the wall, it wasn't like a big deal.
I was
Um,
surprised that there was not more spin outs. I mean, maybe that speaks to the level of driving that was going on. Obviously, these are some of the best guys in the world. But I was shocked. Thought it was going to be like a slip and slide all over the place. Maybe to your point about the fact that there was not rubber down at first. That's kind of a unique situation. But yeah, I was ready for it to be like the spin out Olympics, and it wasn't.
mm-mm. And that's what I think. I think it goes back to there was some grip on the track in comparison to actually driving on a wet track that has rubber laid down, which this
Right.
didn't.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh,
What was
yeah.
your favorite battle, do you think?
Oh man.
That's a hard question.
Honestly, it was Laurie Heinen's chase when he blew up the car.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
he because it was one of those battles where he did fine and it was pretty even when he led, and then in the chase, and he must have known this, because he said in the chase of that battle that the engine was like barely hanging on, and it was not sounding good. So
Mm.
I assume he knew he had to win it in that chase, or because it couldn't go one more time, because he couldn't go one more time.
Right.
So
Oh my gosh.
and I thought he put one hell of a chase run on to really be like, okay, yeah, he deserved the championship this year. That was what I thought after that run. I was like, even before
I
the
agree.
judges made a decision, I was like, yep, he deserves it. That was a heck of
I
a
agree.
chase. And so yeah, I mean that was one of the highlights runs for me. But I mean there were so many that were just like wow. Like Peter Visick had some of the best chases
Yeah.
most of the night. For him, it was just his lead run. It's that Supra has no give in the rear, and so it caused some pretty big corrections whenever he like sort of tapped the wall, as opposed to
Hmm.
like Adam, for example, the whole back half of that car gets ripped off, but he still isn't really making major corrections because there's nothing in the back half of that car.
Right.
Or like a couple other like some of the S chassis were able to put a lot of their back end into the wall and still like not have to make major adjustments. So um, obviously Peter's an amazing driver, and it's good to see that they're getting that super figured out. I know this is kind of like a he wanted to like compete for a championship this year, but it is the first year he's campaigning that car, so it makes sense. He
Right.
usually takes, and he's been developing it for probably I think 2 years now, but still, like you never know how it's going to react until you really put it into some major competition. So I thought,
Yeah. Comp is totally different from like fun days, test days. Like you should do test days, you should do fun days, shake down the car. But until you see like how the team and the car and everything is going to react in competition, it's like you really don't. You kind of don't know.
yeah, no, it's true. Um, yeah, Phil said Josiah had a crash. I mean, yeah, but
True.
it wasn't like a chassis ender or anything like that. Um, and then like Hugh is like, the Poles were so grumpy when LZ beat Peter. I mean, yeah, I mean I'm sure they were, but it was a pretty obvious win in my opinion.
I would agree.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad mistake in the lead, so it's hard to recover from that one. But I mean, Peter and his chase run was awesome, and I think he put on a great show for his hometown as well. Even though he didn't get on the podium, I thought he should be proud with his driving for the most part.
For
Um,
sure.
the Yeah, so Malik said the water coupled with the pyrotechnics made the pictures look amazing. Dude,
I haven't.
Adam LZ's
Yeah.
picture or his thumbnail that he posted, I was just like, dang, that's
I'm gonna
so
have to
cute.
look it up because I don't think I've seen any of the like media that came out of it yet.
Yeah,
Because I watched it and then I kind of like I've been dicking around doing my own thing on the internet and I was like, I wonder where all the coverage of this is.
right.
So I'm gonna have to look. That sounds like it was dope.
Yeah, well, luckily since I work for people that I work for, I have some stuff.
Neat. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Well, I just want to figure out how I want to present it. This is a good one. We'll do this one. So just bear with me one sec, guys. We gotta.
Yeah.
Just want to throw some examples up there. So you got that guy with the pyrotechnics. You got
Neat.
this guy. This one's got like a freaking explosion going on.
It's so cool. So, okay. I know we talked about that a little bit. Um, I wonder if that's like so much more expensive to do to put on a show.
The
You know
pyrotechnics.
what I mean? Yeah, because it just looks so cool.
Yeah,
But
and
it
this
like
is.
doesn't really serve a purpose.
I mean, it does because I think it adds to the show a lot. I
True.
really do. People. I do think people like it a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas, but this goes back to our conversation of last week of who sponsors Driftmasters. It's Red Bull. So Red Bull is the one that puts on.
Right.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the pyrotechnic stuff, or like pays for it at least, and wants to do it. Oh yeah, here's the picture that I was looking for.
Okay.
This is the one that you guys are gonna like. Look at that.
Oh man. Oh man, that's sick. Hold on, I gotta get a closer up angle. All right, that's dope. Everything should have. I want pyrotechnics when I leave my job in the afternoon. They should be outside my window when I wake up.
Yeah.
That's
So
dope. That's dope. I love that.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
just so like they lined it up. Like
hmm
that's sick. They look like some sort of dragon unicorn combos right then.
well, I mean, the thing that it obviously adds with the wet track because it reflects everything, but I
Yeah.
mean, it still would have looked sweet with. And I remember pictures last year; it still looked sweet with smoke too. But I do think the pyrotechnics of smoke, even though the smoke was getting in the way of some of the live stream shots, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I still really I thought it added a lot, and I'm sure the people that attended it were just like super hyped
Yeah.
with it too. And I think it still was a super fun event to attend. I'm sure everyone there had a blast. They were, I mean, and they go all out too. I mean, they got like bikes doing tricks during like break times and
I
stuff.
was
And
just gonna say, so like watched the live stream, and then obviously there was a break, then there was another live stream. I was always gonna ask or try to see if I could ask one of my friends who were actually there, like, what did they do during the break? And that just answered my question.
yeah, so they had like all kinds of little shows going on and stuff. And I mean, I again super impressive. In my opinion, on what they do for these rounds, and but yeah, no, the pictures were just insane from this event. Um, oh yeah, Phil's like, you gonna mention James riding the wall before entry for no reason? Like, my answer would be like, it's James Dean. Do you expect anything different?
Right. Right.
Dude's already
100%.
tapping the wall before he even enters, and yeah, so we'll see. Like, I'm trying to get Herbie in here.
Yeah, give us a second because we're trying
Yeah.
to get the man. We got a lot to talk about. I don't know if anybody saw, like, we want to get Herbie's take on this round as well, and also talk about some of the comments from the last live stream that the internet has felt a little salty about. And then, how are we going to talk about Fuel Fest without the boy?
I know. Here we go. One sec. Okay. Trying to get him to just use his damn laptop. He has one. It's got a camera on it. Just jump on your laptop. It's okay.
I'm on a laptop right now.
I know his fancy computer isn't working. And this is what happened when you use fancy things. They don't work.
Yeah, okay, here's a perfect example. I record so many voiceovers in my closet with this John, right? And I'm like, this will be sick. Everyone can hear me all up nice and close, like. But it doesn't work. The interface does not work. I think my laptop is too old, but it doesn't. That's point proven that the freaking $300 voiceover mic won't even work in a live stream.
Correction, it is his laptop, and for some reason the webcam in the laptop is not connecting.
Oh God, oh no, here we are hating,
I know.
and my point is moot.
Oh, I feel so
Oh
bad for him,
no.
but um, we'll see if he figures it out. I hope he does. If not, it might be a
Yeah,
little shorter show, but that's it. It
that's
is what it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
We got a
So,
question. Any news on clutch kickers? I haven't heard any.
I know it's gonna. I know a lot of it's planned for next year. That's all I know about it. I know that I want to go to them next year,
Same.
so we'll see.
I want to announce them, dude. Let's go.
It'd be
Let's
cool.
do it.
I'd love it. So yeah,
That'd
I
be
don't
sick.
have any official information on it right now, um, but at least not stuff I can say. So we'll see. It should be
Yeah.
next year.
I'm
Next year.
heading to Mid Pond in November again.
Okay.
So I heard there's going to be changes made to the track,
Really?
specifically the size of the parking lot. Because like I know that's a really trivial thing, but if anyone's ever been there, they know that it is like a Wawa parking lot in Philly, if you're from where I'm from. Like it is, the stakes are high. So trying to get just the drivers and their trailers in that parking lot is next to impossible. So I can't imagine how they would get like a full field of comp drivers and then crew and people to run the event and fans. Like there's no way it would be possible. So I heard that was a major change. And then no hate on the track whatsoever. I love it, but it's a little crunchy as far as the pavement. So I wonder if they're maybe like fixing some of the corners and making it a little less cookie crumbly. Ask my oil pan.
Yeah. So I'm excited though. How in your opinion, just curious, track wise, would it be competitive for various different horsepower levels, or is the track basically a big evener like the original Clutch Kickers track was?
See, that's a great question. So I think yes, in my opinion, because it is like I know we talked, and I hate to relate everything back to FD, but I know we talked about FD having these like massive zones that like you need a bunch of horsepower to fill, and like connecting one to two is really hard. The track is a lot tighter. So aside from like the center section where me with a big boy V8 was trying to just like e-brake extend a corner longer, lower horsepower guys were like manging that section. Aside from that part of the track, I think it's a lot tighter, a lot smaller, and I think it would be a nice equalizer for different horsepower levels, but that's just my opinion.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Okay.
different ways to run it too. Like I think they have a ton of layout options.
Okay. Yeah, that's always nice when they're able to change it in between rounds. That was kind of the cool thing they did with the track. What was it called? Freedom Factory. It's just
Yeah.
Freedom Factory was definitely a faster track, so it benefited the guys that had the power basically. Which
I actually didn't see that one. That one's they did it in the oval, right?
yeah, well they would change it. So I think two
Okay.
or three of the rounds used the oval, and then two of the rounds I think just used the inside. Um, the problem with that track is they had issues with flooding, and if you're in Florida, you know it rains at least once a day. And
Rain isn't even the right word. The heavens open and waters descends on your soul.
well, if you have no drainage system, then that kind of ruins the event basically. So
Yeah,
two of the rounds I don't think even finished because of the rain. So that was kind of a bummer how that all worked out.
that is a bummer.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it next year for sure.
Me too.
Um, and I guess we can. I kind of was quite done yet talking about Poland, so we can, if we want
Yeah,
to jump back onto that.
let's get back on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm also responding to
You're trying to
homeboy
play
over
double
here.
duty. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all butthurt, you know, but
He's
it
not
is
like,
what
let me in, Dad.
it is. um,
Can he just join on his phone?
I,
Like,
I
I'd
just
rather
I
have
just
a
I
phone
just
Herbie than
I
no
just
Herbie.
I just I just texted him. I
Okay.
said use a phone, but um Yeah, so the event itself, obviously, the part that I think obviously gets lost is that there was over 50,000 people at this event. We
I
just
did
put
see
that
the
in,
stands.
and
Damn.
they were full, and like you put that in perspective for any other drift event in the world, and nothing comes even close. I mean, FD's got some decent size venues. I would say maybe 20,000's maybe a top
Right.
um venue, and I don't even know if it gets to that much.
Do you
Um,
think any venue in the US would even allow these like drifters to come in and like pave a section? Like, could you imagine trying to pitch that to a football stadium? They would lose their minds.
no, yeah, it would have to be a probably a soccer stadium, or like they that's what they used for this is a soccer stadium. And then you got to have some friends in the paving industry that would know how to run something like this. Because I assume that's what happened here. Or know the Polish president or something, which I'm pretty sure, or someone high up in the Polish government like went to the round last year or something. So I'm sure
And
there's
had a
some
great
poll.
time. Oh,
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So I think it would have to be something like that, or it, the one interesting thing that, or at least the thing that interests me, is there's are some venues or stadiums that where they run like a monster trunk at and stuff. So
Okay,
like
true.
one of those events that they run monster truck at, why couldn't you theoretically do something like at one of those venues? And I don't
True.
know if yeah. Oh yeah, Malik, there you go. Monster Jam.
Yeah, Malik's
Yeah.
just
How does
reading our
Monster Jam
minds
do
over
it?
here.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
so this might be a little bit of a niche, but I don't know if anyone's ever been to an indoor like three-quarter midget race. Um, Granted, it's a lot smaller scale, so it's like think of a whatever the pro spec hockey level is. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the lower ranking hockey, like not professional hockey, whatever's underneath
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so it's a lot smaller of a venue, but they fill the whole thing with dirt
Mhm.
sometimes, or just like make a surface for, I guess it's not asphalt, but they prep the concrete surface so the cars can run around it. And they like do all this prep work and the cars run indoors and it happens like a few times over the winter. It's pretty neat. I
That's
think it's
really
cool.
cool. Heck yeah. Yeah. I
Or where
mean,
they run supercross. Yeah.
and I mean, obviously the big thing is always going to be smoke. So it's going to be have to be a venue that has an open top or whatever, basically. But there's plenty of stadiums
True.
like that, or at least ones that have removable tops, which most of them I feel like do. At least the ones that use like fields and stuff. I mean, yes, Despy's like pavement and hard
Yeah.
is harder to lay and remove than dirt, but it's
Thank you. Yes.
it's obviously doable. They do it over in Poland. That track has already been ripped up and gone. It's not there anymore in that soccer stadium. I think they move
That's
it literally the
crazy
next
to
day.
me.
Yeah. So it's possible they do it, and the cool part is it looks like it holds up too. It's not like pavement that they throw down and then it falls apart throughout the event. You know, it seems like it stayed together pretty good too, at least from
I
what I
wonder
can
if
see.
it would be easier to like leave something paved around like I don't know, like a larger area around the outside of a soccer field, or to either do like turf over top of it and like roll the turf up twice a year. I don't know. It just seems like so difficult to pave and
Well,
unpave in the same weekend.
well, the thing is you got to think like there's so many different venues that changed for sports teams, and then they'll run a concert at this venue, and then they'll
True.
do all kinds of stuff, and so they'll like run hockey or something. Like there's so many different changes that they're able to do in some of these stadiums to kind of
Right.
accommodate for different types of venues that come and do things. So yeah, I don't know. Again, it would be interesting to kind of look at if FD would be even interested in something like that. But you know, it's one of those things where it's money. You know, it's like how can they guarantee that they're going to make the money on something like that?
Yeah. Well,
But
it's nice to see them doing it overseas, and I think it's important to like still, oh boy.
yeah, um, the What? You laughing at?
Did you not hear the Herbie growl on the dark screen?
Oh no.
It came straight.
Wait, is he in here?
Can you hear him?
I'm showing him on stream.
Oh my god, no, it's falling.
All I
Hey.
heard in my headphones was, and it's like a dark screen.
If
Hey,
I meet
Herbie's-
anybody who works at MSI, I'm going to actually be.
Hey. I was gonna say you're on stream now, buddy. What's up?
I'm just letting them know.
I wish that you could have come on stream the same way that you came into our thing, because it was just so like, it was basically a hell yeah, brother in the dark.
Like, Nate, when you said go on your phone, I was then viciously looking for where my AirPods are, because the headphones that I use on my laptop don't work with my phone, so then I didn't know where those were. And I just,
So it won't hook up to the camera on the phone?
no, wait, is my camera not working?
At least not on stream. It's not.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it is what it is. You'll
We
be
can
fine.
On
We can
stream,
hear
we
you.
can see that. Oh, we have an invader. On stream, we can see that you're on a phone because it's a black rectangle, but we can't actually see you because you are not a
Cool.
black rectangle.
All right, well, let me try to figure some things out.
So we have two comments that I like in here.
Okay.
They have something in New Zealand where there's a drift track under a dirt track oval. Love that, because then you like scoop the dirt out, rinse the boy, and send it. You know, that's sick.
Mhm.
I love dirt track stuff too, so approved. And then someone said, if it's so expensive in the U.S., could they go and do some rounds in Canada? I think we have a lot of Canadian fans that would love to see some cool shit like that in Canada. Obviously, I'd be down, but yeah, Malik
Yeah.
likes it too. That's how you know it's good.
Right. Well, like the thing is, they kind of do that with oval tracks as it is. It's just the oval tracks, or at least a lot of the tracks they don't have a ton of seating, and they're not like
Right.
the most prestigious of venues, I would say.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about the stadium is the prestige that you get from doing something like that, and the
Yeah.
spectacle. And I mean, the reality is, if you're doing a stadium, you really got to go all out with that kind of stuff. And it's one of those things where you can't just spend enough money to barely put on the event. You got to do everything else too. You got to market it. You got to get the cool drone shots. You got to do everything to make sure that this event is the coolest thing ever, so that, you know, if you want to do it in the future, that people want to come to it. It's got to be a destination. So, from my opinion, the Poland event that they do is a destination for drifting now. Like, if you are a fan of drifting, you have to see Poland at least once in your lifetime now, because it is the craziest event, in my opinion, drifting wise, that you can go to. And you can see that with drivers too, because it was the highest driver count all year, as well.
Well, yeah, like the media coming out of there is amazing. So from a driver's perspective, if you're trying to run a program, you need exposure. You want to like be seen and have all the media come out of there, get more people behind you. It's a great round to go to if you can swing it.
Yeah. No, it's true. All right. Damn, we got a lot of people in the chat. So, it's Flying
They're
Custer said
discussing
he's
whether
most-
Bristol would work.
Yeah, that would be an interesting idea. I believe that's a smaller track, right? I'm trying to remember which one Bristol
It's
is.
a small NASCAR track,
Yeah.
so do with that what you will.
I think I've been to it. I get some of their
Yeah.
tracks mixed up. There's some really gnarly ones that have like, they're small and their banks are like
That's Bristol.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a that would be wild. Just drift in general, to see a bank
Yes.
like that where you're
be
literally
crazy.
staring at the ground.
Mad respect, because I'm still learning the bank, and it is scary when you mess up.
Yeah. Herbie, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Can the chat hear Herbie when he's talking? And actually, if I can, Herbie, what were your basic thoughts of Drift Masters from the weekend.
It was cool. It was nice what they did for the drivers.
A little
Um,
wetting it down.
yeah, at first I thought it was going to irritate me, but then I read more of why they did it. I continued actually reading, believe it or not, and it made a lot of sense. And they came to a pretty good compromise, I think, for driving and for track. I mean, purposes. It put on a better spectacle for what it could have been. I mean, I don't even know. Did it rain out on Saturday?
Yeah, it
It did.
did. It
All right,
did,
good.
like on like the actual outside of it. Yeah, it was pouring rain.
Very good. All right, so yeah, what they did was very well thought out, and those some of the photos that I don't know who their photographer is over there, but when the fire is going up and stuff, like good golly,
Yeah,
that is
I
some.
guess I should probably show you. Oh no, you should be able to
Oh,
see it. I hope so.
I
Do you see
see
the?
two of Sarah. I see two of Sarah. I can't see me. I
But do you see the? Do you
I'm
see the picture on there?
nope, don't see nothing. I see two Sarah. I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why. It's because I have it on Sarah.
Oh,
That's why.
okay. Now I see her.
I'm dumb. I actually did that
Yeah.
to Sarah the entire stream as well. That's why she saw two of her. That is my fault. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm gonna make it even worse now because I cannot hear Herbie, but I know everyone else can, so I might leave and come back and see if that fixes it.
Ah,
All
no,
right.
it's not you. It's me.
I can hear her be just fine.
Okay.
Um, but so
That's the photo right there.
the
That's the one.
so the kind of interesting thing is I did a poll in the chat
Oh,
and uh I got what I asked was, is the rain um okay, where did the poll go? Yeah, okay, here we go. Did you like the wet track at Drift Masters in Poland? And the options were yes, it was entertaining, no, it was boring, or the third option was it didn't impact the show that much. So 62% of the people said yes, it was entertaining, which is kind of like higher than I thought it would have been. I would have thought higher people. I would have thought that more people, and I don't know if you heard this, Sarah, but so I did that poll, right?
Yeah.
62% of the people thought it was entertaining that they went down the track. 25% said no, it was boring, and then 11% said that it didn't impact the show much. So kind of an interesting demographic because I thought it would be a lot higher with hey, it was boring, kind of like your opinion of
Same.
it. But
I think that just speaks to the level of driving that you made a wet track look exciting. That is
yeah.
just like,
I,
It
it's
also helps with all their extra things. Like it almost like it makes it more impactful rather than takes away the actual like the impact.
right.
Um, like right there, the photo that's up. Um, it wouldn't. Yeah, it would look cool still dry, but now you get the nice reflections. Like it just looks just gnarly. Everybody's dry, hanging out, which is nice. Yeah, and it wasn't a wet flooded track though. They had enough grip. Exactly. It was just like right on the edge. And it was kind of like crazy to see how level the track truly was because there really wasn't any patchy spots,
Yeah, I
which
mean
I thought was kind of neat.
the drivers were kind of complaining there was patches here and there, but I think that was more of just it drying at different levels in different spots.
Absolutely. I
But
mean, it's inevitable that it is going to happen, but overall, like that place is pretty dang flat.
yeah, and the other thing what you got to think about is at least in my opinion, the cool part is it was the same track for the entire weekend. So all of their practice, all of their qualifying, it all was all under the similar condition of wet to patchy.
Yep.
So that everyone was able to set up their cars to however they like to drive in that condition, and it was a really even playing field. I don't, for the most part. So I think it really made for an amazing show. I thought it was some of the best battles I've seen in a long time, as far as proximity and just the way that you were able to see guys throw it in and just stick it to people's doors. Matching angle was some of the best driving I've seen in a minute. And it wasn't like watching like for example, I think Atlanta rained maybe this
Oh yeah,
year. Um,
Atlanta was a little rough because
yeah, and it was
during
awful to
practice it was
watch.
wet, and then during like comp time it
Yeah.
was like just getting dry, and it's like, what's the point of even going out?
Yeah,
Like,
well, like what I was saying is even watching that when it was wet out and it was consistently wet, it was still not fun to watch just because you need the grip to, for example, to get up that hill. So it just seemed like this track, and then like I mentioned this to Sarah earlier in the show, the fact that there wasn't rubber that was put down already, I think had a big factor on giving them a little bit more grip in
oh,
wet
for
weather
sure.
as well. So I honestly I was one of my favorite events to watch, and I was just like Sarah. I was super bummed that they made it wet, but it was like really, honestly, it turned out to be a really cool event, and I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it a lot.
I definitely I didn't end up watching too much of the main competition, but I watched every run of the qualifying, minus James Dean at the end. That you said that he got a 91.3 or whatever, right?
Yeah, I thought they gave him a little extra points that he probably didn't deserve, but
Yeah,
it's
and
whatever.
I
It
also
is what it
thought it
is.
was kind of crazy. I just, again, I've been
Well, the thing,
watching and viewing the
yeah,
sport for so long that when the competition came and James Dean got, what did he get?
I
Place
don't even
overall?
remember at this point. I can look it
Did
up.
he get on the podium?
Uh, yeah, he got third.
I
And it
mean,
was
I mean
deserved.
not.
Like I thought, the judging at the actual comp was really good. I
I
thought
don't
a
mean.
couple.
I mean for the event. I think that's overall, right? That's for.
Yeah, but he got third in the event as well.
Okay, and Dwayne got first, right?
Yeah, he won the event and got second and took second.
Yep.
Uh, after that.
Which I I guess, but like he was like down. I don't know how many points behind James, and then I don't know. Points are just crazy. I'll never understand them.
Well,
Yeah, I guess.
the thing with that my critique of James throughout the weekend was he kept hitting the wall. Um,
Okay.
where it would upset his line slightly. And they changed the rule this year in Draft Masters that if you are pushing in your bumper, but it's not really affecting your line, but you're like actually like crunching your bumper in, that they'll
Hmm.
deduct for that now, even if it's not
Okay.
upsetting the front tires or anything, because
I was gonna.
they don't want people with really squishy back ends to be using that as a crutch to get around the track.
Yeah, I mean, do the old NASCAR move that Homeboy did a couple of years ago, where he
Yeah.
just pushes it up against the wall and gets all that extra speed.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was I think they rewarded drivers that were not doing that a lot this round, and that was one of the challenges that I thought James had was he was using that every once in a while, and then the other guy. Well, that's why I thought one of my favorite lead runs of the weekend was Torquevilla's run, qualifying run, is because I thought it was remarkable how close he was to the walls for pretty much the entire run, but didn't tap it once until
Hmm.
I think like the very last corner at the very end of it. So I thought that to me was the impressive part was when you weren't when you it looks like you were like right in the wall, but you weren't actually touching it.
Yeah, I mean, LZ's runs were pretty damn good,
You
honestly.
know, and so that kind of brings me to I guess I don't know how much of the year you guys have watched on DMEC, but if there was any driver that you were impressed with, personally, I'm impressed with Adam. I was a little interested to see. Honestly, I've been impressed with Adam the entire year because I
Yeah,
wasn't sure how he was going to run with this E36 program. Obviously, I know how good he is in grassroots events with it, but at this level, I was really surprised at how he was able to get better throughout the year and really, you know, show up.
I give it up to him because he was like the poster child for the passion of drifting this season between all the series that he was running and like running that BMW and just shredding like the true spirit of the sport. Love him or hate him, like you have to give it up that he did a great job this season.
Absolutely. And you got to think too, like there's guys at different positions for their career. So, for example, I talked about how Connor Shanahan wasn't exactly happy with his season, but how many of these drivers would kill to be fourth overall in the championship? You know,
Right.
Yeah.
And
or
I forget who said it in the chat. I'm sorry for whoever did say this, but someone commented that Connor Shanahan got Rookie of the Year, which
no,
is
no, no,
so
no, no, no,
funny.
no, no,
No,
no, no. He's not a
it was
rookie.
the other Shanahan.
No, it was Connor Falvey.
Oh, okay, all right.
So the
My
blue
bad.
S15, Connor
Hmm.
Falvey. He's the guy that was Drift Games brought in to drive for them. I think is he 18 or 6? He's 18 or 16.
He's got that Hot Boy S15, right?
Dude, it's
That thing is
so
good
good
with
looking.
the nice teal blue, and then
Mm-hmm.
his teammate is the green one, right?
Yeah,
Okay, all
Racer.
right.
Yeah,
But
those things fuck. Both of those cars, they're some fine
dude, and
units right there.
Connor can drive. And he's another guy that probably should highlight for just
Sure.
how young some of these kids are. Yeah, Falvey. Guys, how old is Falvey in the chat? I can't remember if it's 16. Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of 16s.
Yeah. He's a kid and the
Yeah,
dude is throwing down like serious heaters. He qualified in the 90s, I think, bunch of the rounds.
that's
Um,
crazy.
so he's a kid that's going to be really interesting to watch in the future. Um, and his car looks amazing as Herbie was saying. Uh,
Big
but
fan.
yeah, who's the
I,
guy you like to drive with? I can't remember who you said it was. Um,
he's fifth. Ah!
yeah, Korpelinski. Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's a pretty good spot for him as well this year, for his standards. If I'm correct in saying.
Yeah, I think last year he didn't show up so hot.
Hmm. So I mean,
I'm pretty pumped.
it's
Pretty
pretty
positive.
impressive from him. Obviously,
Extremely. To be fifth out of that many
hmm
drivers, that's crazy.
and the other guy you also got to think. For example, a guy that's in a different position. You got Peter Visick, who's got a new car. Ends up probably 12th. He's probably not too excited about that position. Had some rough rounds. Um, but by the end of the year, he looked like he was pretty dialed to me.
Yeah, new chassis, new feels. It definitely has been comfortable on the S15 for quite some time. So it probably is a bit of a little game changer when you come into a
Right.
shorter wheelbase. I mean, just a little more.
It looks snappy to drive, man.
I was gonna say a little more snappy of a car, I think,
Yeah.
ultimately. But yeah, I mean, dude,
And the other thing that
slow.
killed him was there is on the back end of that car there is no give. So every time he tapped the wall, it was major correction.
Yep, yeah.
Um,
Proud of
but
him though. I mean, I wouldn't expect really him to genuinely suck ever, and which he doesn't. So he, it's just there was a little bit of a learning curve this year, or
right.
getting all the gremlins out, whether that be in the car or physically on himself. So
Mm-hmm. That's true. Um, So man, there's a bunch of people talking in the chat. Yeah. So yeah, Skytron was like Connor 3 or 4 rounds, qualified top 5, which is impressive. Uh,
Extremely.
yeah. He also says Peter's got to work on finding the dimensions of his Supra. His
for
chase
sure,
runs were legit, like some of the best of the whole night. But yeah, he was right. Like for me it's like the same as like the Shanahan's 8.6s. There's not a lot of room behind those cars to be hitting or tapping walls, so it's the same thing for him. Like I feel like the S15 he was driving had a little bit more give in the rear. So
Well, you said
for
that
sure.
this was the first season that they're docking people for having too squishy of rears, so maybe that was strategic.
maybe possibly
So like, don't get in the wall or you're gonna make a correction.
Yeah,
right.
you'll definitely know when you're in it if you hit it on those babies.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
for dang sure.
Yeah, I saw a comment earlier talking about the diesel wagon that you could literally put half that car into the wall and you would never know.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I give that guy a lot of credit too. That thing can't be necessarily the easiest car to drive, just like Dylan's mobile. Like,
Right.
yeah, they make torque out the ass, but like that thing's only revving to maybe 52,
It's
Yeah.
maybe.
so sick though. It's so cool.
Yeah, and it, like literally just like the first thing that everybody sees is the black smoke, and then his side, like on the side of his car, just says "black smoke" or whatever it is.
In case you
Like,
didn't
yeah, man,
see it, you can
yeah,
read it.
yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah, James getting third with only 5 rounds, getting knocked down 32 with a mechanical. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
insane.
Yeah. Keep
I
in mind
really
that is
did.
probably the reason he doesn't have the championship is because of that.
Yeah,
So I
ultimately.
was kind of comparing the whole like Drift Masters FD like winning both to, do you guys follow the Olympics? Like
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
100-meter, 200-meter. So like dudes who just crush it at one of those races, which is like your very, very little bit of people can actually do that. They'll then their next goal is to win both in the same year. And it's like I
Yeah,
think a handful of people have ever done it. And I
Mhm.
wonder if that's like the thing to
the
shoot for now is like if you've won one and you've won the other one, winning them in the same year is insane.
Yeah. And it's
I
crazy.
was hoping for him. I had everything in my body crossed for that fucking big old hunk of an
Dude,
Irishman.
and it almost happened.
Dude, I wanted it so bad,
Oh,
so bad. Like, yeah,
I just
I
love the
wanted
storyline, dude.
I
Just love
wanted
the
it to be a
storyline.
close fight, but I wanted him to come out on top just to be able to just have that huge notch under his belt. Or
Yeah.
oh, like, damn,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
James
he
done it
has won it
before.
before, but like,
To do
uh,
both in one
yeah,
year
to do
is
I'm
both in the
just.
s-
same years, yeah, would be
Has he done?
crazy.
Has he actually? Well, I mean,
Yeah,
this
he's won Drift
brings up
Masters
the
in the
top.
past.
No, this brings up the topic though. Did he win Drift Masters the same year when he was an FD, or did he just go balls into FD
I don't think he ran
those 3 years?
both, but I can't remember.
I don't. I don't remember either. I hadn't really started watching Drift Masters until like two years ago, if you even want to call it that.
Okay.
apparently the chat seems to think that he did in the same year. I guess it was one of his previous champion years.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oman.
No, me neither.
What is Oman
I've
or
never heard of
Omen?
that.
Sarah, if you would like to give a little input on what Omen or Oman
I have no
might be.
idea. Yeah. Let me
Yeah, I've
Google
never
it.
heard of that one. And I guess this comes back to our last week's topic of why don't you watch FD if you're in the car? Why
Oh
don't I
my
watch
God. Talk about
why
getting.
don't I watch Oman or Oman if I'm in
Well,
the
the
FD
only.
or
I can answer that for you. The only reason that I don't watch it is if I don't know it exists.
yeah, I
So there
didn't
you
know
go.
that one. Yeah, I didn't know about that one. So
Well, I don't know.
international big skid pad comp. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I have more feelings on that if we really want to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah. Well, I
I don't
mean,
like a skid
Uh,
pad.
I
I
don't
don't
like
like
a
a
skid
skid pad
pad
at
either.
all. A skid
I
pad
mean,
can get all the
listen,
smoke.
if somebody's gonna let me drive their car on a skid pad, though, I'll be like, dang, all right.
It's good. Okay, let me just. It's good for beginners. It's
I'm
good
not a
for
beginner.
learning.
No, I'm
It's
kidding.
good for like beginner competitions. I think if a track has a track and a skid pad, that's cool. But this whole trend of like, oh, I don't want to build a track. Let me just pave a skid pad and put cones out. I'll take a
Yeah,
stand on that.
I do agree with you heavy on that.
yeah. Well,
Do
I mean,
I wish Florida had better tracks, honestly.
yeah,
The only like not flat track that they have, which is still flat essentially, is OSW.
yeah.
You
It's
you
kind
hit the
of,
middle, it's flat.
yeah. It's
It's
kind of a weird not flat though.
it
Yeah.
It's not.
definitely. I mean, you come down and you're like hitting an earthquake.
Yeah.
But they've made some different changes. It looked like that. What was it? Last round of what the hell is that drift league called? That's down in like Florida. Matt Shulman was in it.
Oh, I think it's
Um,
US Drift Circuit.
yeah, that's it. I felt really bad for him. His
Car broke. Yeah.
car break and then getting in Kelsey's and then it was not up to what he was expecting. Or I guess like there was some gremlins in it, and
Well,
he's
it's an
like,
SR.
it
So,
is an SR.
Oh, it's the SR car. Oh, that car's
SR
always
car.
had issues.
It's just,
Yeah,
I mean, I know two types of people with SRs: people who all they have is issues, and people who've never had a single issue in their life. And
yeah,
I
and
don't know
they
what the
beat the
difference is.
living balls off of it. And it's Like, yo, man, have you changed the rocker arms on that? No, it makes like 450 horsepower. I got big turbo. It's fine, dude. I haven't even changed the oil in 2 years. Like, all right, dude, you're crazy. But then you got like Tom Mazzaro out here that's like fucking doing everything he can to keep this thing alive. And it's like, nah, I blew it up. I just pulled it off the trailer. It's crazy.
He towed all the way to Drift Appalachia in
Yeah,
Kentucky.
just to
And he
blow it
like
up as
rolls
he
it off the trailer, and we're like, "Are you gonna take any laps?" And he's like, "It's blown up." We're like, "Since when?" He's like, "Just now."
yeah, literally. Yeah, that
Oh,
is.
that dude's luck,
Yeah.
man.
I know.
But I mean, so I had a couple just topics just from listening to people and comments and all that kind of stuff, and kind of trying to get some stuff together. So the real question is, okay, so why, if you're an automotive enthusiast, why would you not be wanting to be involved or like FD per se? And the first one I put up is not relatable, and for me, I don't really like this point
Me neither. You go
because
first.
FD is the top, or Drift Masters is the top level of the drifting sport. If you look at the top level at any other automotive sport, FD is way more relatable to everyday drifters than,
100%.
let's say, road racing. You look at the top levels of road racing, whether it's V8 touring cars or any LMP3 stuff, or all of that stuff is all tube chassis. None of it has any OEM stuff anymore left
Right.
in the car.
Not to mention in F1, you have to go and win the lower series as a literal child in a multi-million dollar car, or you can never get to the highest level. And
Yeah.
like 20 guys get to do it. That's it.
Right. Or even like
That's
NASCAR.
unrelatable.
NASCAR, nothing in NASCAR is relatable, in my opinion, for
What do you
what
mean, dude? They're
people.
stock cars. You buy them right off the factory line.
Okay, this is why I think this point
But
needs
I
all
do,
the
I,
So,
smoke.
but look,
I do
let's
want to
just
address
talk
some
about
of those.
FD for a second, though.
Okay.
I do like the fact that, I mean, they all have doors, and a lot of them, in my opinion, look pretty good. They're not monster trucks like they were probably 3 or 4 years ago. I think they've actually done a lot with styling,
Well,
Yeah.
in the recent
they go
years.
through waves. I think
Yeah.
like you get like a style boy that comes in like Forrest Wang holding it down. Like
Hmm.
his car is set up competitively, but
Yeah.
like he knows a good looking mobile.
Hmm.
And it's the
Right.
same thing like Dustin Miles, Miles of style. That motherfucker paints his shit. If he blows a bumper, he's like, yo, Dill, you need to fiberglass this one, and we're spray this bitch again. You know,
Good for him. I like that.
yeah.
But again, I think, oh, I mean, they all for the most part have dashes and stuff like that. I think they're not crazy of built or cars that a lot of people think they are. Sure, there's a lot of them that have some high dollars into certain areas of the cars, but I would say a majority of them are still like not, in my opinion, they're still relatable as cars. They still look like cars
Yeah.
that you could
I
theoretically,
mean,
make.
ultimately, like Ricky gave somebody a breakdown of what he originally spent on his car this past weekend at Fuel Fest, and they were like, "How much did it cost you to make an FD car?" And 80 grand. And but yeah, he's a talented fabricator. He knows how to work on a car, so he did save. I'll give it $20,000. So $100,000 will put you into a overdone FD proper. Like I don't want, like, I'm not Ricky. If you ever watch this,
I don't
your
know if you
car is
saw, but
definitely not overdone.
TLO's prospect winning cars for sale for like 55 grand.
Yeah. So like
Well,
ultimately, cost of that was probably $100,000,
Hmm.
and yeah, they're taking a big hit. But like, I
for
mean,
me,
it's
saying
let's
it's
hear it, baby.
saying it's unrelatable is only taking the big money teams into account and giving all of these privateers both middle fingers. It's unrelatable. I can name you probably 10 at least guys who are building the car with their family or their friends in their own garage and bringing it to FD to compete at the highest level of drifting. So if
Yeah.
you're saying, "Oh, it's unrelatable because I can't build one," that is literally disrespectful to those guys, and that got me so heated when I read that comment
I mean,
last
even
night. I was like,
Well,
even the big dudes, honestly,
Yeah.
like they are like it's not like they're coming back to a shop. The only person or only team I feel like that's actually doing this is RTR,
Right.
where they come back and they're like, all right, let's assess the damage. Like we have all this open space, like cool. You go
Yeah.
to Papadakis' team and it's just him
Yeah.
and one other dude. I can't ever remember his name, but he intimidates me really bad. But he's a
Well,
very
like,
nice guy, but like they it's it's not a huge operation. Yeah, they get sponsor money and stuff like that, but like
right.
it's different. You know, you don't
Tons of
got
pro
the
spec guys are just doing this in their own
um,
garage. Trevor Root and his dad. It's a
yeah,
family operation. Like,
five
come
strike in
on.
his left hand.
Yeah.
You got Alex and his hopes and dreams. You got like
Ricky and his
it's
never working on his own car.
yeah, literally. You got Ricky and Gary, aka
Yeah.
Gary.
Jeez.
So I definitely I mean, I don't necessarily understand where a lot of
No.
those comments like I I get where they come from, but
dude,
like
and
I
here's my
mean
thing too is
I'm a fan of rally, NASCAR. Like I know a
Right.
lot of different motorsports. Like and it's
Same.
not because like I force myself into these things. I couldn't tell you a single rallyist name.
mhm.
I genuinely like I couldn't tell you. But I do when I know that I can watch it, I try to
Yeah.
watch it.
Same.
NASCAR, that's all over my Twitter. I like genuinely. It knows I'm a good old boy. It
Yeah.
knows. So like I try to pay attention to that. And like
Right.
but drifting is obviously like where my heart and my home is, but like
Yes.
if my boys were to go pick up a GT3 car, I'd be like, fuck yeah, it's about time.
Let's go.
And
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
I'm all around because I just for the sake of motorsports, I like them. I
Right.
truly do. Like it for people to be like, oh well, FD is like yeah, unrelatable. It's like, bro, what? I'm never
I
going
don't
to
get that.
go 200 miles an hour around Talladega, and
mhm.
I still fucking I love it.
Of
Yeah,
all the motorsports, I am most likely to be able to go pro in Formula Drift of all the
Yeah,
other
same,
motorsports. Like, it's the
literally
most
same.
relatable. Like,
That's
what do
what
you
I'm
mean?
saying. Like
And
it is like the easiest thing. I could
right,
go and stomp out an East 10 competition for 2 different weekends because
right,
they do 2 events per weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then technically if I win, okay, 3 of those, or if I podium 3 of
right.
those or whatever,
And so let's say
I'm
you're
gonna
not
get
a
a
driver,
license.
because like none of us are really drivers at the end of the day. Like a little bit me, but that's I'm not counting that. A lot of these guys, their entire crew is like whatever homies they could muster up for that weekend.
Literally.
And so if you don't want to be involved as a driver, you can't be involved as a driver. I'm pretty sure you can anyone can apply for a media pass. You can come and support as a fan. You can make friends with someone and get in on their crew. That
Yep.
honestly, maybe there could be a better way to like a path for people who'd like to be a part of a crew and contribute that way. And I did see Malik's comment of like even buying a used Z is expensive for most. We're not
But
saying it's cheap. We're just
yeah,
saying
no,
it's the
I can't
most
afford to buy a car. I
most
can't.
relatable out of all
Well,
of the motorsports.
I can't afford to buy a fucking beat up E36 that's got a fucking missing floor.
Right.
But
yeah.
I own a lot of drift
it
cars, but
it
that's
is
because I'm
the
gonna have
closest.
peanut butter and jelly for dinner. All
Yeah,
right, jot that
it
down.
it is the closest thing that like I could get into genuinely.
Right.
Like yeah, I could do spec Miata racing, but like no, I couldn't because spec Miata racing comes with like, a lot of other rules that I
Mhm.
can't afford.
Right.
I could go to a local track day and start drifting, whatever, cool, and then like
Right.
start competing. Like I get a dude to just buzz in some metal in my car and be like, yeah, man, cool cage, that's awesome. Jeff Marlowe is sick.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm kidding. Oh, you don't have my camera on. I forgot. I'm just doing silly things. Um,
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
but like, yeah, I mean, you could literally earn your license to be a professional drifter with the least amount. Whereas, like, if you were to become like a professional rally driver, you need that cage no matter what for your
mhm.
first event. You need those coils that are going to cost more than any other set of coils in drifting. Like that is some off road. Like you're now hitting the $5,000 range for fucking springs,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Right.
Yep.
And okay, you go through tires on track days with GT3 cars. Same thing. Like, okay, what do I need to buy a Porsche? Like, no. There's so many semantics that go into every other motorsport, whereas
Yeah.
like drifting is like, brother, you could literally just
Right.
be good
Yeah, and
and earn your license.
yeah,
And yeah, obviously now buy like an LS from a junkyard and do your
well,
thing.
well, the other thing too is if you're unrelatable from a style standpoint, I would just like to point out like a lot of these professional drift cars, especially when they're on power, are tucking more tire underneath the fender than most hot boys. So
Yeah. Jot that down.
it's wild, dude. Like, I mean, freaking
It
Odie
is.
has holes in his freaking over fenders from squatting so low. So the next point I had was that it is unprofessional, at least for some
Yeah,
people.
I mean, you got Phil that just maybe because you can't just watch it with zero context and understand it like a race, which is true. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point.
ultimately, you really can't. And like, yeah, if you're coming into like middle of the way, top 8 or top 16, whatever, you're just hopping in. It's like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Right.
And I
I
I
think
I get that 100%.
we debunked the unrelatable as far as because I saw a comment that said it's unrelatable because I can't build one in my garage. BS. So many of the pro spec guys do. A lot of the pro guys
Yeah,
do. You're just ignoring the stats. Like root for the underdog if that's what you want. I always do. Sick. But as far as unrelatable, like your average person can't turn it on, like Phil said, and watch it and understand it right away. That is a great point.
that is
And
fair.
that,
That is
in my
absolutely
opinion,
fair.
that's the biggest problem with drifting in general. Is the
Right.
education for it is not great, and it's always been my gripe with FD. Is I think the educational side of it is not great, and I don't think they help with their rules at all. I think they make a lot things more gray and less black and white, and I think that makes getting into the sport even harder. And it's one of those things where you have to literally be involved in the sport before at least probably I would say 6 months before you start really understanding the nuances of why someone gets a win in some of these battles. And people aren't going to invest that. People
It's
don't want
great.
to invest that.
No,
You know, so it's like the challenge is okay. This isn't a burnout competition, and this isn't a race to the finish line. So how are
Yeah.
you going to explain to people that, hey, there's these points on track that they're trying to hit while maintaining angle,
Yeah.
and then the guy behind him basically is trying to do the same thing that the guy does in front of him as close as possible, and whoever does each one of those things better in a battle of two is going to be how you predict a winner with the three judges. But for
yeah,
some reason, like that's really hard to explain to a lot of people. And
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he just said I brought a friend to FD New Jersey, and he asked me who won every time because he didn't know their names or what they drove. And it's like, okay, well, that person just doesn't know cars or anything at all. I'm sorry
Well,
to say that, but more than likely that person is just if they don't know the cars, unless you mean like in the sense of like, yeah, I don't know everybody's car. Every year in prospect, I'm like, it's 2 events guaranteed that I'm like, what?
right.
And I'm like, man, there's like
Yeah.
50 of them. Yeah, so like I do get that. And I still to this day, if you were to tell me one of the newcomers' names of prospect this year, I'd
Yeah.
still be like, who?
So maybe like better graphics, better explanations,
It
something like
would be
that.
for me, it's the
it,
judges. You need to get the
it
judges involved. You need to every battle, the judges need to
like
get on and explain in basic detail. Hey, this is where this guy missed the zone here, here, and here in his lead run, and
Yeah.
and the other guy didn't, and that's why we gave him the win, or something like
yeah.
that, where you are giving a basically as bulletproof as an argument as you can give on why the reason someone wins, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think everyone would just be happier for it.
yeah, I mean, Jared does try to paint a very good picture of like, all right, here we go. We got Alex here and 370Z, steal it, NOS energy, whatever, like,
Right.
like real quick. But
Yeah.
like that shit, when you're sitting in a crowd of, close to 20,000 people, goes in one ear and out the other, or it's just echoed amongst. And I'm Phil.
Right.
I didn't want you to think I'm not saying that your friend is not just a car guy, but yeah, no, I completely get like it is a little hard, like
So, you
real
know how
quick.
when you watch boxing, at least for me, when I watch like a UFC fight or boxing, I don't follow that heavy, but I think it's entertaining to watch. They what they do is they put each guy in different colored shorts,
Of
and then
course,
it'll say the name, and then it's like blue underneath. And I'm like, okay, blue shorts. So I
yeah,
wonder
blue
if they
shorts.
can do like making the drivers put like their number and name on the roof. So that way, when it's like drone shots, you're like, okay, well, that's Denova and that's what's his face,
A lot of
whatever.
guys do. I mean, he had the cool
It's not
graphic this
required,
year
but
of snow money. I thought snow money was really
I
cool,
thought that
which
was
I
so
also
funny.
I also was like at the beginning of the year, I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, that's a risky deal right there. People might take this a very wrong way. It's like you don't do that stuff.
I think that's really cool though. It gives the announcers an opportunity to be like, "Oh, Snow Money. This did you know that he has
Never
his own
once.
landscaping company?"
Never once.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, come on. But yeah, sorry, Nate. I definitely went off the topic that you kind
No,
of
you're
had
good.
because
Like
Yeah.
it's
Phil's.
kind of the idea where I wanted to get to, and that's my biggest gripe with drifting is the
Right.
educational part. Because
Right.
if you don't have a friend that's in the sport, I'm sorry, but you can't get into this sport. And
At
I
least
it,
know, and I hate that.
into a professional level, even like at a grassroots level, honestly, anymore. Like the amount of people where it's like, oh well, what do you video? It's like I do like automotive. They're like, oh well, what kind? They're like drifting. They're like, oh, like, and it's like either like 9 times out of 10, it's like, what's that? Oh, or the other one, maybe one is like, oh, you're at the bottom.
I know. That's so sad.
But like ultimately, like it's nobody really knows still, which is crazy, like what drifting is, and that's why like it has been considered the fastest growing motorsport. And it is because like if you take it into perspective that not that many people truly know what this thing is, that yeah, that's the fastest because it's still so fresh. Like NASCAR's been around because it was the only thing. It
Right.
true like ultimately it was the only fucking thing that dude could do, and it was illegal as fuck.
Yeah.
And it turned into like, wow, maybe we should do this like professionally, like instead of
Hell
running from
yeah.
the law, like maybe whatever. And yeah, now here we are, all these years later, almost 100 years later of NASCAR, and everybody's like butthurt about like the competitive state of like where drifting is, and it's like, yo, if you break it down, we're not hardly 20 years,
Yeah.
honestly.
yeah.
Like if you,
Uh,
like FD at the beginning was just like, I don't want to say a joke, but it was a joke. I mean, like the cars are doing these courses where like it's not that crazy.
yeah.
Like they're very underpowered and things like that, and like it was sick as fuck though. That's why, like I say, I don't want to call it a joke, but like compared to what we have now, it's a
It's
joke.
yeah. Yeah.
So we
It's been a huge change, honestly.
in in 20 years, in 2 years, 3 years, like every year there's a huge change. It's just the fact it's like the same thing as like you look at yourself in a mirror every day, you don't notice it. But if we were to take a step back and think about how far over the time, it's like, wow, this is actually really good. So
Yeah. Well, so on to the next topic I have is, or at least the point that I saw, is it's not broadcasted to a general audience or it's niche. And then they also, or another point was the stream production's mediocre. And so here's my first point to that question. As a part of it being, it's not broadcast to the general audience. I would argue that's not true. It's on YouTube and it's on there for free. That's about as most general audience, or broadcasted as much to the general audience as you can, because there's literally zero barrier to entry to watch, at least FD. Drift Masters is a little different. You have to download an app. It's still free, but
My mom figured it out this past weekend.
there you go.
Well,
She
if the
literally said
boomers can get it.
she texted me before I had even watched any, and was like, "Wow, they really keep it moving, don't they?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, the European drifters. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's a good show." She's like, "Yeah, I'm watching right now." I'm like, "Okay, that's what's up. That's crazy. How'd you figure that one out?"
Yeah. So, but as far as like FD is concerned, and the reason the stream production's mediocre, I would also say it's free. Like,
Right.
Literally
There
costs
is
people
room
nothing to
to
watch
improve.
it. Yeah, there is obviously room to improve, but it costs a ton of
Right.
money to put on even a
Right.
live stream half as good as theirs, and like
money make money.
exactly. So it's a free stream for everyone to watch, which I think is, in my opinion, like it's really cool that the highest form of this motorsport you can watch for free, as opposed to F1. You obviously have to have cable or some streaming service
But
that has
you
it.
don't need the app. Come to find out, Phil, you don't need the app. I thought that was only for qualifying. I know qualifying you
Yeah.
can watch on YouTube. I think the
Right.
comp you do need, if you want to watch live, you do need the Red Bull
It
app.
made me
but
download the app, but it was like a couple of steps and it was free, so it's like still I don't think terribly.
I guarantee
Yeah.
you probably within like 2 hours I got that bitch uploaded to YouTube too. So like ultimately it's really like I haven't checked, not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
they they want to get their monetary value out, so they're gonna fucking distribute that any way that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone said in here that when they said that it's not he meant that it wasn't projected at car guys in the car community that like don't follow it. So I think maybe he means like it's not marketed well enough. And obviously you can
Gotcha.
always do more marketing. You can always do better
definitely
marketing.
can.
They could
And
do it a little better.
To be
back
fair
down
though,
to
I feel like
our life.
it's pretty. I know people say that like, they don't know what drifting is, but I feel like I see it in like gas stations all the time. You'll see like a picture of Vaughn drifting in like a gas station all the time.
And the
like,
people that don't necessarily quote unquote know, I'm doing air quotes right now, know what drifting is like they just kind of need to be reminded. Like, yeah, you've probably done it once before in fucking old Bobby's fucking truck back in 1983.
You ever go out in the snow?
Exactly. You ever hit some cyclones in fucking your old Sierra?
Dude, I used to crank that Soldier Boy in the Explorer back in the day. I used to load like 7 friends in that thing, and I'd just be like the slowest drifting, and I'm not gonna say where because it was definitely illegal to do it where I did it, and just so fun.
Yeah, but you didn't do it in in the middle of a crowd of people in the middle of an intersection.
I didn't.
Why not? That's really cool and awesome.
It's not. Herbie's being sarcastic, and you can get all the smoke from me if you think that there is a takeover community. Like, get fucked so disrespectfully. That's not a thing.
There's something in the Second Amendment that could handle all of that.
Dude, sometimes I think I'm being aggressive, and Herbie's like, "Hold my beer."
It's just
so wait.
It's just funny because it's not impressive at all what they do.
Like,
it's like
you're literally telling people you don't know how to drive. I suck at drifting, and I can still do a donut and not kill anybody.
Check my rollback. Yo, peep this rollback. I totally meant to do it.
God.
Look at the way I put the clutch down when I spin out.
Oh my god.
Clutch, they're probably all automatic.
Well, I mean, if they were, then damn, they're fucking hurting their transes on top of fucking rolling back, too. Damn. It's just in drive and they're just
So there's some good points in here I want to bring up. First of all, Mav TV, they do play drifting a little bit as a rerun, which I think is not quite the object of it because I'd like to see it live. And also, who else can get the smoke is ESPN running like hacky sack competitions live, but doesn't have drifting on there. Honestly,
gotta pay to play. Gotta pay to play.
That's
I I bet you hacky sacking is paying for ESPN4 to run that shit.
Stop!
I could almost promise you, and I hate to be on the opposite leg here, but I bet you that they actually give a fuck because they know that there's people like us that are sitting in a hotel room and they're like, fuck, what are we gonna watch? And you throw on ESPN fucking 2, 3, 4, and it's dart competition where they're making 20 times the amount what FD sees in a year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or you got hacky sacking, or you got or what's the other one?
Pickleball.
Cornhole. Cornhole.
Yeah.
That's another big one. And it's like, man,
Pickleball.
like, if maybe if FD pays
Malik's
to
like,
go
even the
on there,
hot dog eating contest.
Oh
that's
my
what I'm
god.
saying.
So
What's
painful.
what's that popular guy's name? The wiener dude. He wasn't allowed to enter in the wiener competition this year. Glizzy Gobbler,
I don't know his
MVP.
Yo, I love that he's googling that right now.
I am. MVP didn't come up with what I was expecting. Glizzy Gobbler
Okay,
MVP.
all right. I'm glad your camera's off for that.
Hot dog
But-
champion.
But the thing is you're right though, Herbie. You're paying to be on ESPN
Joey-
and that kind of
Joey
stuff.
Chestnut.
So, oh yeah, that's right, Joey Chestnut. That's the guy's name.
That's right. Yeah.
But
Hard to forget.
yeah, but the
Easy
thing
to
is
remember.
like, I don't know if that is worth paying for nowadays. Maybe it is for older
True.
people.
I think a TV spot is a very rough position to be in. I
Mhm.
think, obviously we still have our boomers, but ultimately, like, Sarah, when was the last time that you hopped on TV and you're like, let me throw on some, like,
I'm gonna
what?
be honest, like Saturday mornings when I'm cleaning or Sunday afternoons when I'm cleaning, or the only
Yeah.
time I turn on a network thing is if like I'm trying to watch Game of Thrones, bro. Like that's when I'll pay for HBO. Or if I like sports. So if there's like a Phillies game or an Eagles game, I'll toss that up there.
Yeah, so you could watch that now on Peacock or whatever.
Right.
now,
I do
right?
have the cock, so
I also, the cock is great. Anyway,
Q
but-
who is Q Jangle? I love that handle.
I do too. I do too. I think my sack was hacked. It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Look up lone trans while looking that up. Oh yeah, thanks,
Phil, you
dog.
crazy
All
animal.
of you guys are just.
Dude, the chat's out of pocket. I love it. I love this energy right now.
I opened with Glizzy Gobblers, and
Yeah.
this is what I get.
Earlier, Malik also said that the manufacturers are not behind it. And to that, I will
True.
say, did you guys know that BMW not only doesn't support drifting in any way, that they sent, I forget what driver it was, a
Michael
cease and
Essa.
desist, a cease and desist because he
Yeah.
had a BMW logo on his suit when he won the championship. That
Yeah,
is
he's-
disrespectful.
He's
but-
making people want to drive their cars.
They'll like pay stunt drivers to drift in their commercials. Like the disrespect, the audacity.
The G80 at Fosswood or Fosswood
Ugh.
Festival of Speed, the Goodwood Festival shit.
Yep.
They paid the Red Bull guy. I don't know if it was Red Bull that paid them, but they had the brand new fucking BMW drift cars, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
for real? What is it?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah, for
why.
real, dude.
Michael and Chelsea.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Damn.
Chelsea also had the cease and desist order.
And if you look at oh my god, my brain is fried. Who runs the E46? Dylan Hughes. If you
Mhm.
look at Dylan Hughes' hood, his BMW logo is upside down, just for
Yeah.
like, because they refuse to support at all, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting that a company like that would do that, and I mean,
Going back to their
obviously,
1940s roots, dude.
Yeah.
Just
Well, the
That's why
thing-
they lost the war.
dictatorship over.
but the thing is you still got Ford that's involved. Nissan is somewhat involved, And
Toyota.
Toyota's obviously making a big play. They got a bunch of commercials
I
with the
think Toyota
Toyotas.
and Ford understands
Yes.
where the current, like our age group and younger than us, is
Yeah,
like
dude.
where the projection is truly headed. And it's not necessarily drag racing or road racing anymore. It really is doing debauchery type stuff with your car.
But you
It's
got it. The coolest part about drifting is it's legal. As far as
Yes.
like events
that it.
go, like as long as
Like
you're doing it on like a closed.
you pay some of these events, you pay $120 and you got all
Right.
day seat time. It's like,
You
yo,
got
you
a
go to
rear
you
wheel drive car, working e-brake, and like a diff, you're good.
Yep. You got your helmet? Cool, man. Awesome. Pants? Cool.
Yeah.
Pants?
All right, man.
No.
No
Pants
pants.
optional.
You don't know
Hey,
right now. I'm black screen, so I could
dude. Herbie could be just in his birthday suit over there. We don't know.
be swinging right in front of this thing. You wouldn't even know.
Imagine that's when the
You,
mic decides or the camera decides to come back
you
on.
honestly, you wouldn't know if the camera was on. So.
Oh man.
Well, you know what else is like wildly disrespectful that gets me rolling is a lot of these new cars. Like I know the new Mustangs has it. I'm pretty sure the GR Corolla has it. They'll put in like drift mode in their thing
Yeah.
to varying degrees of success. I will say the new
Focus RS
BMW
started
might,
with that.
yeah, and the new I think the G80s have it. I don't
Yep.
want to talk out of my butt. I've driven a lot of new cars for my job.
Let's
I'm
see.
pretty sure the new G80 will be like drift mode. Like how disrespectful.
It's
Let's see.
wild to me because
I'm gonna have
it's
to
again
Google
it's
it.
like a promotion of like a totally legal thing, but
Yeah, apparently BMW M3 and M4 M Drift Analyzer, a tool that
Yeah.
can be used to evaluate individual drifts or entire drift sessions.
oh my
They have
gosh.
a whole tool about drift
Brother.
analyzing.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're just gonna I don't know. They need to fire like all their PR guys, I guess. I don't know.
It's just
They
it's
don't
crazy.
listen.
And
If they don't want to
also
get it, they don't
Chevy,
want to get it.
why is GM like nowhere to be seen as well? To be
I
fair.
know, my boys.
I do agree with that. Phil, you bring up a very solid point because I mean, I think Chevy has a very different place though in a way. Like an LS is just everywhere.
Yeah, it's
You
just
go
it's
you
tough.
go to
It's
your
tough because
local
I feel
meet.
like for them it's more in the just the LS platform that they should be supporting
Yeah.
and their
Um,
aftermarket, I guess crate engines and stuff like that. I feel like that
They
would be
put
a
their
huge.
whole they put their whole heart and soul, their whole GMOC into the design of that
yeah.
engine, and then they just were like, you know what, we're done. And the rest of like chassis design, very medium.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got you.
All right, cool. One of my AirPods has died, so I probably don't have much longer.
Okay,
Well,
well, hold on, because I love to yap. So take the AirPod, put it in the case, and then you just
I'm gonna.
buckle my shoe,
I already put
and
the
then
other
trade them
one in
out.
the
Baby,
case.
let's go.
Listen, I already did it.
there you go. I did. I believe I had one other thing on here. Drifting is repetitive. What do you think about that?
Have you heard of drag racing?
Yeah, but
Have you heard
sometimes they
of
do it. Sometimes they do a 6.2, and then sometimes they do a 6.1.
like I can't express my disgust for bracket racing, which is the goal of the race is not to go as fast as you can.
I don't even know what that is. What is
Okay,
that?
so it's basically I'm gonna really explain this bad because I've never been heavy into it, but the goal is consistency. You want to be that you want to run the same run like a 7 whatever. That's very fast. Let me say something else. You want
I
to run
know.
like an
That's what I said.
11.
I said a 6 second.
Sorry.
I'm like, yeah, that's
Right.
like a funny car.
You want to run like as close to an 11.3 as you can, and like you win for consistency. So I don't like that point either.
Yeah. And then you have NASCAR. Driving in circles, which a
Right.
lot of people
Here
love.
we go, another
But
left turn.
Yeah.
Here I am trying to like stand up for these other organizations, but the topic was about that drifting is the same thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, like I love all the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
the
love
thing with
NASCAR.
drifting is I do feel like there's a lot of variance when it comes to battles and even cars. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
cool in drifting, all the cars look different for the most part, unless they're like part of the same team. Like,
And I think
you
they're
got, for example, even you got like Odie's S chassis, and then you got Forrest Wang's S chassis, and they look completely different. But
right.
they still
Two
do the
different
same thing,
PowerPoints. Yeah.
you know?
I would argue to say, Nate, that's a great point. I think that has the most car variety out of any motorsport. Maybe rallies up there too, but like drag
Not at the
racing,
highest
everything
level, it's
is
not. It's like
okay.
it's like 4 or 5 manufacturers. Am I right, Herbie?
Hmm?
How many manufacturers are in Rally, the top level, or different
Hmm.
vehicles?
Well,
Is it like 4 or 5?
like
It's like
5.
Hyundai,
Yeah, literally, like
Volkswagen's not
Citroen,
in it
maybe.
anymore, are they?
It's I think Citroen still.
Yeah,
Ford,
I've been I've been saying that wrong for my whole life.
Subaru,
Citroen.
Citro.
I'm pretty sure.
I say Citroen because I'm an American.
Yeah.
I
It's
enunciate all my letters.
yeah, tell us how
Me
much you love NASCAR,
llamo
buddy.
Hunter.
I do a lot. What do you want from me? I listen. NASCAR Cup Series has the most variety. Okay, you're honestly probably right, Brandon. You got Toyota, Ford, who now? Chevy.
Chevy.
Uh, it's all the same motherfuckers, dude. It's the same thing.
With their headlight
I think
stickers, like be
Brandon's
so for
giving you
real.
shit. I don't
I
think
think
he
yeah.
believes that.
I think
That's
he's
a pretty
trolling.
wild take.
Oh, I think that ultimately, yeah, drifting probably has the biggest diversity of cars, but compared to like even GT3 races, bro, that shit's
Right.
fucking like if you ain't driving a Porsche or a Ferrari around a turn and you're gonna get smoked. But then like if you're going down the straight, it's like okay, I want AMG.
Right.
And then in drifting, there's another thing where you can have, just like you said, Odie's car with an S chassis with an LS in it, and then Forrest
Mm-hmm.
Wang's car with a JZ in there. Like that's two. You can swap engines. You can do whatever you want. Like the world's kind of your oyster within reason.
Yeah,
There's some
Yeah.
specifications they make, but like another
Yeah.
series
Peugeot.
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You're
Peugeot,
right.
hell yeah.
But the thing
Forgot.
is you still have to use like factory mounting points for
Hmm.
suspension and stuff
You
like
can't
that.
mess with behind the strut towers.
Yeah. So there's still cars.
Right.
It's
There's
just
definitely cars.
you
What do you?
no, but I mean like they're not like tube
I'm sorry.
chassis
I'm
NASCARs
I'm
where they're
fucking with you.
you know what I'm saying.
He's on one.
But
No, yeah, there's cars out there for sure.
there's not a
This is a
lot
car.
left of the
No,
factory
yeah,
left
but
in
yeah, I
FD
mean,
cars, but like
it's not a complete tube chassis fucking unit that's
mhm.
Right.
now like okay, if I was to mount up like all the things that I need to make this street legal, can I do it on a drift car? Almost, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Almost,
the only
yeah.
thing you'd have issues with is probably emissions, honestly.
yeah, literally. Like that, most of them, I mean, all of them have to have running headlights and taillights
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and brake lights, and the only thing that they
You'd
probably don't have
add
are
turn
blinkers.
signals. Yeah.
Yep, and emissions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you probably just wouldn't want to drive a cage car down the road. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I
Some
mean,
hot
there's
takes in there.
yeah, I mean, there's some interesting points where people were, you know, have their opinions and stuff like that, and I'm always here to try and see what other people think because the reality is we're kind of a biased opinion because we're involved in the
Right.
sport. So hearing what other people have to say is kind of nice to see, I guess you say.
Yeah. And the most important thing is like if you agree with us or you don't agree with us. We're trying to
fuck
create a
you. No.
discussion. Yeah. We're just,
Sorry.
We're
Anyways,
trying to create a discussion around it so that we can bring more eyes to the sport and improve the sport.
yeah. Anyways, yeah.
You killed her, Herbie.
Cheers to
I'm
beers.
sorry. Oh my god, my eyes are
Anyways,
tearing. That
Blake.
was so funny.
Yeah.
If
Cheers
you
to
don't
beers.
agree, fuck. Amazing.
If you don't like Big Red, then fuck you.
Yeah, those vibes, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was being pretty nice in the comment section, but I had to drag that takeover kid.
There was a fresh one today.
Don't
That
step to me,
definitely.
takeover kid.
Which one? Which one was that?
I think the one that called me broad, which is like, okay,
Oh,
now I'm gonna call you names. Points for creativity. Like, thanks for not just calling me a bitch like everybody else, I guess. Good job.
dude,
But yeah,
the dude in Spain building the Drift AMG GT with the 2J. That motherfucker.
hell
Is
yeah,
is it the
in the chat.
black one? Is it the if it's the black one with them fucking sick ass wheels on it, and that thing is like fully professionally done? That thing gets me bricked up. Not gonna lie.
You'd
Like,
have to be
yeah,
dead not to be bricked at that, buddy.
he
Yeah.
is way overbuilding that car, and I am here for it, baby. I can't wait to see that thing do some skids.
Yeah.
There you go. So Sierra
We'll have
had
a
an
no
interesting
words.
a point here. He says, I have a theory. Drifting is not as popular because it's so easily accessible to everyone. Like F1, you need to climb the ranks since you're 5 to get to that level. And the fact
Yeah.
that F1 is literally out of the touch of any common person. And that's why it's so, I guess, spectacular for people. And that's why I think personally, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have a really good show that shows the backstory of a lot of drivers now. At least that's why, well, and a lot of people I know have gotten into it after that show came out, was because you kind of get to see people's personalities, and it's put on display really well.
What
And you
show
can
is
kind of
this?
root for teams and all that kind of stuff. And
Drive to Survive.
yeah, so
Oh, the
and
Diego show.
yeah, and FD doesn't really do a good job at
Oh no,
promoting their
that's not
drivers, in my
the Diego
opinion.
show. You lied to me.
So like when, or at least giving some of the emotional behind the scenes parts of some of the, I guess, their drivers, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's, you have to go to each driver's social media to kind of get their story, and people aren't going to put the work in to do that kind of thing.
Right. And so Netflix kind of gave them, I mean, they had a lot of celebrity before. Everyone knows who
Right.
Lewis Hamilton was, but
Right.
they gave him even more accessibility. And I mean, if they could do something with FD and, or at least try to give the drivers a bit more celebrity, that's going to help them with their sponsors. That's going to help with getting more people to be fans of drifting and follow the series. So I think that's a great idea, but
It's true. I mean, the thing is people relate to a lot of these stories emotionally, and if there's no emotional connection to some of the drivers,
right.
then it's kind of hard to get people involved, or at least some
Yeah.
people. Some people obviously are just there because they love drifting, but some
Brandon just
people,
called Herbie a ding dong.
shocker.
Shut up, Brandon. You're a bitch.
And what you were trying to think of, Herbie, is Hyperdrive, where Diego Higa came out of. A cool show. My favorite part was the drag racing guys talking all that crap and then getting their butts whooped because the drifting guys are better at car control. Who knew?
Yeah, Malik said FD needs more drama, which is a good and a bad thing. I appreciate the drama,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Me too.
hyperdrive is the word that I was looking for.
yeah.
Drive to Survive F1 hyperdrive Diego.
Phil said, if that's true, how are ball sports so popular? They have like training
Balls.
camp hard knocks or whatever. So they do the same thing where they like follow along the guys. And there's a bunch of Netflix specials on like quarterback show now.
And there's
shit.
also localization pride as well. So like whatever your local team is for your city, that's kind of something that's been created. You don't have that in drifting,
Right.
as opposed to like Drift Masters, where you do have your nationalities kind of come out and support their national driver. They don't really
Soccer
have that
was
in FD.
invented in 1863.
This is true
Let's
too.
see, when baseball was invented, we're looking at
1908.
1839. Okay, so basketball.
Yeah, so they got a little head start as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
James Naismith invented basketball, and in the year of 1891. So, I mean, we're looking at
Damn,
ball sport.
son.
I didn't look at football, but I'm sure football was around 1900 as well. So,
yeah,
but yeah, those are the differences too, where when going back to it, like drifting being the fastest growing motorsport, it
it's only been
truly
around
is
for, I mean,
20
professionally in
years.
America for what is it, 15
20
years,
years.
16 years, 20 years? They up to 20 now?
20, 20.
This is 21 now.
21 years, okay.
This is the 21st year of FT. But like ultimately, like when you put it down, like the first 5 years, do you even want to, like, if you were to compare them to now, that's not really professional, you know? Like it was just like an event that they put on, and they were like, you guys are like good, like you're doing this, like you're cool, and like let's fucking broadcast this. And
Yeah.
now we're at the point where it's like, holy shit, like this is the real McCoy.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you gave drifting the amount of time that fucking old basketball's got, or any
For
of
sure.
these sports, like where drifting is going to be as a sport in that amount of time is going to be way beyond anything that we could probably predict or imagine at this very moment.
It's true. And
Spaceships.
I think it'll be huge, huge in 10 years. Give it 10 years.
Payouts are
You'll
going to
be
be
surprised what
gnarly.
it's competing about. And
Yeah,
I'm curious to see where rules go in 10 years as well, though. That's the next challenge is, are we going to be
should
getting
we
tube chassis stuff and all that
should we
kind of
make
stuff,
more
you know?
drama between states when it comes to supporting drivers? Yes, yes,
I wonder if
yes.
I mean, you can
FD
try.
should
It's just, it's tough,
I
you
would
know?
love it, Phil.
like hype
If
the
you got
local
a dude
guy.
in, yeah, if you got a dude in your state, you don't know who else. Yeah, like NJ drivers are great and Philly drivers suck. Yeah, yeah, fucking lay it on them. Like if that's what you
The
believe,
question is like, with some of
yes,
these drivers though have moved around so much now. It's like, okay, so who do
True.
you really support? You know, like, is
Like they
Chelsea still a
say.
Philly guy, or you know?
I would say that he's still a Philly guy.
Okay,
I would,
okay,
I would, I would root Chelsea for Philly guy, and like no matter where like my boys went, I'd be like, "Them my NJ boys," you know. Like I'm a root for
yeah,
Right.
him. Trevor Root, even
Hell
though I don't
yeah.
shoot for him, I'm rooting for that motherfucker
Dude,
because
mm-hmm.
I
he's a
was
Club Blues hometown hero.
hometown hero, underdog. Love it.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
at like Fuel Fest this past weekend, like it was Ricky, the the Cowboy guys. Who are the Club
The
Blues?
Smoking
The
Cowboys. I can't
Smoking
name all their
Cowboys.
members. There was like a
I
cowboy
know
falling
Luke.
out, and now that's not the same members, and I can't keep up.
Well, we got Luke. No matter what,
Luke,
Luke
right?
Danner,
The
and
cowboy holding it down.
he's holding it down. I root for him, even though it's just for a fun event. I'm every time I see him go around, I'm like, yee, like let's go, boy! Like come on now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely tried to hold my values to where I'm from, and I think that that does stem from my acceptance and my enjoyment out of like team sports. You know, like
Right.
ultimately, like you see everybody in Drift Masters, like when it came to Finland, like this final round or Poland, um, all the people in the stands with their certain flags and everything. It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
get like it is a little bit different, you know, because from one country to another, you can drive. You can literally just drive it,
It's like states.
and
Yeah.
so it is like it has more impact in a way. But like states are huge, and we have a lot of population in this country, and I would love it to see that the fans actually stick to who they believe in. You know, it's like I don't give a fuck. Like Dustin Miles is up. I'm calling him out again. Dustin Miles is up from good old fucking Georgia, ATL. or wherever the hell he's like around there somewhere.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Hometown boy for Atlanta's round. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like I would love to see some camaraderie, but there's like no flags that you could wave. You know, like there is a state
Drivers could
flag for
make their own.
each flag. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that it is true, and there's different ways to. You don't have to use a flag per se. You can just
Right.
have like your local saying or a local group.
paint your chest,
You know.
ladies.
Hmm.
You know, the
Come on.
RB missed the beginning of this, but he's coming in hot in the end.
What do you mean? I went through pain and agony for 40 something minutes trying to get my webcam that decided that it doesn't exist on my laptop anymore to exist.
Thank you
Right.
for hanging in there, buddy. We appreciate you.
Well, this week is going to be even more hell because now apparently I have to do a whole Windows wipe on my laptop to try to get
I
this to
don't-
work. So
I don't know what that
Nice.
means.
He's got to restart his computer.
I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, I'm not YouTube. I'm not gonna do that. I am very happy. Everything is cool.
it's a joke.
It's
You
a
can't
joke,
because
and
we're all looking forward to Irwindale. We're very ready. Shit's booked. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So one of the things
Jesus
that Brandon
Christ.
was saying in the chat is he said, my theory of the lack of growth is it's the rebellious motorsport. The average drifter is more broke than the average racer, and he's been trying to figure out where to go from there. Like how do you change that perspective?
Well, so snowboarding started in the 80s, right? And everybody hated snowboarders. I could even pull up a video, which is hilarious now, of like Ski Patrol being like, we want those things off the damn hill. And I think there's still 2 mountains in the United States that does not allow snowboarders at all, period. They don't give a shit. So
Really?
like you have to sort of battle that. It's because it has this like kind of FU attitude, like grassroots rebellious nature of motorsport, like, oh, we see your race line and we raise you the outside line. But
No,
it
I mean,
needs
it's true.
time, like you
It
said.
takes time, and you get more and more notoriety as like manufacturers get
Right.
involved and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's just kind of the involvement or the evolving nature of a young sport. To be fair, it's not going to happen overnight, kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was the last. I guess. Oh, you didn't hit Fuel Fest, Herbie. How'd that event go?
Herbie.
it was good. Sorry, I'm typing also in chat. Malik is crazy, dude. Did
Slightly.
you see what he said?
Yeah.
You guys see Drift Games lost all their footage from Poland.
Yes, I do know about that because I get
That's
footage from them.
That's crazy. I'm normally doing homework and watching the stream. You are a real OG, Malik.
Malik's
Yeah,
awesome. He's
honestly-
always in here.
Thanks for following me on Instagram, dog. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
I don't really be posting too much. I actually said to my boys today, I was like, I need to make an edit because my page is turning into fucking Daily Driver Media, and which is fine. But
It's
I
good.
was like, I'm like, damn. I'm like, my whole top row is just Sarah's fucking mug.
Let's go. Come on.
Because you're dead set in the middle.
Middle
Yeah.
boy. I'm
Well,
in the
I mean,
middle
and
on
she
this
brings the
one, too.
webcam as well, so that also helps.
I have
My
2.
webcam works.
Well, not really. I have apparently my phone that decides that apparently front camera or back. I have So I have front camera, back triple camera, back dual wide camera, back ultra wide camera, back dual camera, back telephoto camera. All of those don't fucking work. I downloaded the Streamlabs app. Couldn't join. Said it was an invalid link. I said, "Oh, really?" Because I clicked it on here and it worked fine. And I go to my laptop for 40 minutes and it says, "Nah, cool. Actually, your fucking camera uninstalled from last week to this week. I haven't touched a fucking thing. I've only edited. What do I do?" And I was like, oh, all right. I tried to play 2K literally before the stream. I
Yeah.
tried to play 2K for the first time since I bought it almost a week ago.
How dare
And
you?
I know. So I had to change some like, some parameters around my like firewall, whatever. So I like undid that. I was like, oh, it's probably the firewall. Nope. I'm like, all right, man, let me uninstall the fucking webcam. Like they say online, reinstall it. Go to uninstall, go to reinstall, restart my computer 3 times. It's not there. It's just now completely gone. Now I just have a camera that's just doing nothing in my laptop. And I now next week I'm definitely going to just plug my camera in again. I'm going to just use the old Sony and just use it that way, and I'm gonna have high quality with a ton of noise. I got James here, but you can't see him because again I have no fucking video.
I look forward
It's
to it.
okay. Sarah's only moving at 2 frames per like 3 minutes
She's
Which,
as well.
looking
like,
great
So
for me.
I just want to
Sarah,
say,
Sarah, you look great for me.
thank you so much. I just want to say, I am hardwired into the internet, friends. I don't know how to fix it aside from this laptop. It's from college. I am 1,000 years old. I actually remember when the dinosaurs walked the earth. So this laptop is like easily
You're
almost 20 years old.
31.
I'm 33.
All right, well that's like
This
half of the
laptop
devil's
is
age.
from 2009.
wow.
You are the real Satan's age.
Tell your friends.
I'm my only friend, so all right,
man.
Herbie.
Hell yeah.
Flying Custard's like, did you allow access to the camera on your phone?
I did do both. I promise. Dude, the amount of times even through the stream that I've clicked on front camera and tried to open up Streamlabs too without interrupting this while I'm in here.
Yeah. Hey, that's technology for you.
Yeah. Yeah, on the Drift Games thing, got a message yesterday, or it was 2 days ago, that
That's my
their
mom right
hard
there.
drive got stolen at the end, literally the end of the event, and all of their footage from Drift Masters, this round in Poland is gone, pretty much. So that's got to be
That's
heartbreaking for them.
crazy.
And like,
Well, I
with
could
It's like the
send
worst
them,
event to lose footage of too,
I
because
could
it's
send
so.
them a link and they could. Oh wait, they don't have the hard drive. I was gonna say I've used this program before where like if your hard drive gets corrupted, dude, you fucking salvage everything that's on
Right.
it. But yeah, if it's
No,
stolen, I
no,
mean, there's
they
really
don't
not much.
have it anymore.
Five finger discount is one thing.
Yeah.
I wish the person who took it would return it, because obviously
What are they
like,
gonna do with it?
Dude,
sell it. Like, I'd be like,
Yeah,
hey,
but
Dude,
can't.
dude,
You
give us
can't.
the
hard
footage.
drives
We'll
are
send you a hard
so
drive.
cheap. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
dumb thing to steal.
That's
Like,
it's like
what?
it's like if you
Even if it's like
actually
the max,
fucking,
like 4 terabyte, it's like $100.
they had laptops back then. They had laptops for use.
Yeah, I had just upgraded from chiseling into my rock.
Yeah.
Taking notes
Pre-
in class. I was just like, ting, 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 ting. Oh, laptops are here. Let's go.
I hate you.
Oh my gosh.
What shirt do you have on today?
Who,
It
me?
looks like you. Yeah, it looks
Oh,
like you were
yeah.
trying
So
to
normally
shout
I wear
somebody
all
out.
black, but somebody didn't do laundry. So we're rocking a band t-shirt today.
Hot
It's mostly
mulligan.
black.
Oh hell yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Dude, they rip. If you know who they are, I will be shocked. And then we will be best friends, and I'll send you songs constantly. I'll be like, I'm sad to this soundtrack today. Boink.
I put you on my playlist. Hot
Hell
mulligan was
yeah.
in there.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm not on video. I just did a head nudge. Like, bitch.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to say about Fuel Fest?
Fuel Fest. It was actually really cool. I didn't really know what to expect. I've never been there before. I'd never been to
Which track is this again?
New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a great track.
Incredibly good for the person who doesn't have a media pass. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Yeah.
You could literally go everywhere that you possibly want to be or ever would want to be for shooting without a pass. and the driving was mediocre, I will say. At least for drifting. I didn't really watch too much of like their roll racing type thing because
Yeah.
I mean that's not necessarily who I'm into, but I did
Yeah.
watch some, and some of it was actually really good. I was like, holy fuck, they're boogieing. Like that,
Right.
there was some dude out there with a 335 that was eating motherfuckers up, and I was
Dude,
like,
those things are
damn,
quick.
they are fast as fuck. And that guy, I was cheering for every time because the dude that also lives here, he has a 335 with single turbo, and that motherfucker eats. And I was like, yo, let's go, Leroy. Anyways, fucking the drifting though, I think that they could have picked way better drivers to be out there.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for Mikey Walsh in his stock fucking VQ car, and Nate Chen, and Trevor Root, I can't forget Trevor Root. If it
Right.
wasn't for those guys, and Luke was also doing a fine job in his 1JZ stock car. The rest of them were definitely struggling. And I'll stand on that. If I did forget anybody who really didn't need to be stood on,
Yeah.
my condolences. But like
That
those top
track's
five
tough
right there, it is
too.
tough, and like you definitely need some power.
Right.
But like ultimately, like why did they assign these people to go to this track to be a spectacle and look like a fucking idiot in front of 18,000 something people or whatever it
Jeez.
might be,
Wow.
you know?
I
And it's like, dude, like,
yeah.
oh, cool, because you bounce off limiter, you do this, that, the other. Like, I don't know. That shit's like a joke to me a little bit, but like,
Right.
Yeah.
the event was cool. The cars were cool. The actual like the people who parked up for like the car show, I'd say about like 90% of the cars that were there were very worth being there.
Right.
There was the other 10% like probably shouldn't have been over parked where they should have been. I've seen a couple Civics with a ton of dents on them and that were on like some fucking Walmart wheels, and I'm like, damn, all right, a little funny.
Timu
Um,
build.
a little Timu build. I can't knock it. You know, I listen. I'm driving my Compass, so like, it is what it is.
Right.
But
Brandon wants to know if
overall,
there was any rollbacks.
did they do rollbacks? All right, so I have a video.
Oh no.
Um, in the
I wish
burnout
you could
pit.
show it to us.
Yeah, me
Could
too.
theoretically send it, but yeah.
Yeah,
In
that's
the
right.
burnout pit. So I got off track. All right, put this. I'm gonna tell this whole perspective story.
Okay.
5:45. I walk. It's a big track. It's like 2 miles, right? Sarah, you clarify if I'm wrong.
Yeah. It
It's
might
about
even
a.
be bigger than that, but it's
It's a
big.
it's about a 2 mile long track. So I walk from like maybe turn three all the way back to the center, which is where the burnout pit is. Now Ricky's timeline was at 6. So whatever number, like if he pulled up to the line at 6, I think he could have gone, whatever. But I wanted to get my spot at the burnout pit because it was a fuck fest. Like, thankfully at the time, like for 6 p.m., they
Yeah.
had like right before it, some stuff going on stage, which was right to like the left of the burnout pit. Cool. So like everybody like dipped away. So I stood there. 6 p.m. came, cars started like rolling to the burnout pit again. The crowd started to come back. Now I have my spot. I'm solidified in. Cool. I'm chilling. Third car goes in this 6 p.m. slot because they are like 15 dudes are given a slot time per hour. Ricky was in there at 6, and this other guy comes up and he goes around in his fucking 350Z, banging limiter, all this shit, fucking turbo noises, this, that, the other thing, and comes out of drift or out of burnout, whatever, and like starts like driving, like not understeering, not oversteering, and drives right into the concrete barrier and just doesn't even attempt to put the brake on, doesn't attempt anything, and push it. Oh no!
Oh, would we lose him? Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Can
I
you hear
can
me?
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right.
his AirPod died.
Yeah,
His
my
AirPod
AirPod
died.
died. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Swap the other
anyways, nah, I'm just gonna raw dog it right now
one in. All right.
if it's cool. He pushes this thing back, and it gets hooked onto his front bash bar, and it pushes the thing back like 6, 7 feet. And now Ricky's spot is now gone because it took this dude 30 something minutes to pull this piece of shit out of the goddamn burnout box. I'm gonna stand on that, motherfucker. You are a piece of shit for doing that. And I hated every single second of it. And he
Oh
had
my
this cute
gosh.
little thumper girl come out of the passenger seat,
Oh my God, I
and
can't.
she's living it up like she's on top of the world, and I'm sitting there with my Ronin and my camera in my hand, like, so we gonna clear this mess up or what's going on? And like now you got dudes from the crowd because remind you it's Fuel Fest and it's a bunch of fuck boys and and, and I'm just getting so angry. Torta and all. Exactly, Brandon. Exactly. Dude,
Oh my
fucking an
God.
absolute torta. And
It's getting so disrespectful.
I got it all on video. And I am so mad about it, dude. Because as this is happening, Ricky goes by and does probably one of the best laps that he did all day. Blew the
Of
fucking rear
course.
quarter off. Fucking a heater of a run. And I'm waiting for his dumbass to fucking come do some 30-second bullshit. And yeah, I'm just livid after like this has gone on. Like I'm standing there for almost an hour at this point, and the car is still in the burnout pit. I'm like, guess this ain't going on no more, huh? Like
Yeah,
this guy's turned it into his own TV show, basically out here.
that's such a
Right.
bummer. So,
And
like, burnout comps, the Australians know how to do a burnout comp.
Yeah, well, they call it like a power song.
Whatever they want to call it, they're doing it the best.
They got straightaway, and then they're just like, yeah, man, once you hit that straightaway, you do whatever you want to do, and it's like, hell yeah.
And they do it good. So, I'm a fan.
And they do it in between walls.
Yeah.
And there's no people inside of the walls. It's weird how that works.
Oh, dude.
You have no idea how much I was just sweating telling that story. I was so angry again.
You made me sweat over here because I'm laughing so hard.
Okay, so obviously there's a bunch of shit show going on, but the drifting
Cars
part
were
of
sick.
it
Drifting was cool. Cars were cool in the park.
Yeah.
Like,
is
I don't wanna
just
say
like
park.
it's just like a show basically for fans there and stuff. Is
It is a
that
show. They have a live music stage. I did not
Okay.
know this, but ASAP 12 was there and he performed live. And as I was absolutely in my demise, I was being uplifted by ASAP 12, and I do very much like him as an artist. So like as I'm standing there angrily, I'm like, I fucking like this song. like, like, god damn it.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
I got these little fucking Edgars next to me fucking being fuck boys, and they're like, yo, this is sick, it's like, yo, no, what is sick? Like the fact that homeboy over here fucking crashed into a wall because he didn't know the difference between a throttle and a brake. He couldn't figure out the difference between either of them. He did nothing.
I've
He's
said this. We need to bring
stupid.
back bullying. Just a little bit of bullying
I
can
get
help
bullied every day.
this
What
whole
the fuck?
takeover situation. My car is ugly. I get bullied, and it
Yeah.
motivates me to want to have a nicer looking car.
To little avail, but still, it motivates you.
Right, I'm trying.
If you were to just, maybe crush it and then just start over, it would be fun. No.
No, this is good. I like getting
I'm,
drunk with
I'm,
Herbie
I'm
on the
kidding.
live stream.
I'm
No, it's sick.
I'm kidding.
Would it make you feel any better if I told you I got it from a junkyard?
A drunk yard or a junkyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Little
man.
fucking. Thank you, Brandon.
Bro, he said it, not me.
We all know what I'm talking about, though. They have the same haircut.
Yeah.
It's a TikTok trend. Edgar haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though. Yeah.
Everything I say, I stand up. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. The other thing I saw, obviously, there was a Utah Toge event that looked kind of interesting. It looked really fast from the clips that I did see of it. It looked
I
really
saw
fast.
a bunch of dudes spinning out, but I
Yeah.
didn't really see that many clips.
You see Rome's in card today?
No, I didn't.
I gotta watch that. Rome's a chill
Oh
dude.
my, oh my goodness, dude! That when you say it looks fast, he looked like he was moving up that motherfucking hill. There's a car that's in front of him, like
Yeah.
at the beginning, like probably maybe 50 car lengths in front of him,
Okay.
and he catches right up to the rear end of him by the end of that hill. And
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit, Rome is moving, and Sam Magmumi is right behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that literally the road gives out and he goes off and destroys that car.
Ugh,
Found himself at the top of like a 3-story building.
Yeah,
Off
so
that one.
spicy.
so the challenge is going to be, how is this going to work for Irwindale? You know, like, is he? You know, I'm sure he's friends with enough people. I'm sure he could get borrow a car from someone to run Irwindale at. But like, I'm curious to see if he's going to be trying. I know he's already got it at the frame shop and trying to fix it and everything. But I'm curious to see if he's making it to Irwindale with that car.
He knows where to find a car. It's called his car, and kick the Hunter out of it. Like,
Right.
yo, man, that's crazy. I actually need this for this one around.
That's true.
Hey,
Yeah, I do. I think that he'll have it done by Irwindale.
That's true. I guess
think-
Brandon's right. There are 30 days still to fix it. I forget that how far away it is
True.
still.
I've been to Garagistics shop
Yeah.
before, and it is pretty serious.
Is
It
it?
is. Yeah, it's a very nice place. Tons of BMW chassis littered through that place that are constantly being worked on,
Yeah.
and like tons of different tools at their accessibility, and it's very nice. I mean, I was only there for like maybe 10 minutes, so I didn't really like snoop around too much, and I
Right.
also hate to be that guy that snoops, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
good for you for not doing that.
yeah, and I'm walking in with a camera in my hand. It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
I'm
why I was
here-
nervous with us walking in the through the pits, camera in hand, and like we peeked in the autograph signing. I was like,
Nothing to be afraid of.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
know, they tell us to fuck off. They tell us.
Yeah.
right.
So Malik said he feels like Connor and Sorensen are teaming up next year. What do you think of that?
I can see that. Go where the money's
Big
green.
rumor.
I
I did hear
that's-
that Sorensen team will be the biggest team next year, so maybe that is two sides of the same rumor coin.
Maybe. I don't know. It could be interesting to see what happens next year.
Imagine.
I assume
Connor
Jack
goes
is trying to come out next year as well.
Cool.
To FD, but
Man,
interesting to
that-
see where that money comes from or who's paying the bill for that. But
The U.S.
Um,
government.
yeah,
That's right, baby.
you mean me?
You mean me? Me too. When I finally pay my bills.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
Hunter's
man.
FBI guy right now.
You don't know where I am.
Oh man, yeah. Honestly, I think that's the main topics I wanted to hit today. It is
Job, team.
interesting. Looks like Bobby is gonna have another Utah. They approved another Utah Toga event, which means it must have done halfway decent if they were okay with running another one. So kind of curious to see where he goes with that kind of thing.
I will say that they
Obviously,
should probably
drifting.
find some better looking cars.
I know the thing is I don't know if he really said no to many people. That's the hard part, and that's the thing I like about Edgar's Drift Appalachia events is
Right.
he says no to pretty much everyone. He's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
he's
no, it
very
definitely.
very 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 picky about who's coming in and driving at Drift
Yeah.
Appalachia, and it shows in the footage and like going to the event
The
because
cars look great. The drivers are respectful. They know what they're doing. They're very
mhm,
skilled because it
Yep.
only takes one bad dude to like
mhm.
mess it up for everybody. So yeah, I
Yeah.
applaud
Well, it's not
Edgar.
even have to be a bad dude. You just got to mess up once and be a really good driver still. I mean, that's what
Right.
happened at the last one. It was like the Keeper Reek guy, one of the best drivers there, one of the best, and he just happened to partially loop the car and he
Right.
dropped a tire, and
Well,
that's all
the
it takes
that
to end the day.
that other random toge event that popped up, like what I mean by bad drivers is like some dudes were having passengers hang out the side, like no
Oh
safety
wow,
equipment,
yeah.
like that type of stuff. That's
That
where
was
I'm
a
like,
that was like 2 months ago. I forget what the
yeah,
hell it was even called, but yeah, that's when people were just flying off the road left and right, and then on
that's
top of yeah, that was rough. I would rather
not good.
have the cars necessarily not be as pretty and have better driving, So like, yeah, the people that did attend Utah, I'm not saying that your shit sucks, but
No.
I mean,
Well, it's
in
just
co-
Drift
in
Appalachia has been
in
going the longest.
comparison,
They
yeah,
have
to
the
Drift App,
nicest
it's
looking
yeah.
cars. Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
I like come to like FD Utah. Like the drift scene out there is very minimal. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like like
Yeah.
it truly feels like it's a lot of either stance or rally type people.
Yeah. Well, I talked to
Because
Bobby, the guy who's kind of putting it on, about it, and he wanted to basically make some really cool video edits out there in Utah about the roads out there and basically that event. And I feel like it's really hard to do if you just are bringing a bunch of people that are kind of messing up the show, if that makes sense, or the footage. And the other reality is you get too many cars on the road there, eventually people aren't going to be able to see anything because of the smoke.
yep.
So there's a bunch of things you got to kind of think about when you're putting on together an event kind of like that. But I mean, it is interesting to see that he is doing another one, and the roads that I did see of people driving it, I haven't seen a ton come out from it yet, but it looked stupid fast. So, and that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
always a scary,
Well,
scary thing
drifting
when.
downhill, all of
Mm-hmm.
your momentum and speed, it gets really sketchy. That's why it's important to have like guys who know what they're doing. They can handle their car. They built it well. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
East Coast
Phil.
drivers are just better. You know that's right. Club Blues, baby. No,
dude, I mean, East
I mean,
Coast does throw down.
I don't want to say Club Blues. Sorry. Englishtown Raceway Park is actually the best place ever, not Club Blues.
Medina, Justin jumping in here. What's up, dude? Saying the first Drift Appalachia that they did, he had an average of 80 miles per hour. That's crazy, dude. The whole
60 through
time.
70 through most corners is crazy. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. The first one that Drift Appalachia did was pretty
That
wild,
spicy
Wait,
and they,
Miata
is
yeah,
that
smacks.
Justin? Justin?
yeah. That's
What,
Yeah.
Justin.
your
He's been
S
shitting on us for most
S
of
two
this.
thousand Justin?
Yeah, yeah,
When
Yeah.
he got ran over at Grid Life
Oh
Midwest
my
Fest
yeah,
god.
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, let's remind him of that again. That's
Yo,
great.
maybe don't park on the track, dog. Yeah.
It's not like it was grit or anything.
Oh my
Yeah, it's not like it
god.
was grid and they were supposed to do that or anything. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I remember his car going out and it coming back in one other way. I was like, damn, what the fuck
Crazy.
happened on this huge ass track?
Yeah, no, that was sad. But no, yeah, I mean, like, and the thing is Drift Appalachia, the event I went to, it was still fast. I
Yeah.
honestly, like, you're going 50 for the first part of that course at least, and then they tightened up at the top. But, like, there was some sketchy stuff going on, even at that event, and it was with great drivers. So,
Yep.
it's a hard type of an event to put on. And Justin's like, that was an East Coast driver that hit me.
Yeah, Justin's like the king of the Midwest out there. We
Yeah,
see.
he's like Midwest drivers are best earlier in the chat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's
East
fighting
Coast
words
guys
out
just
here.
we got to get you out of the way, you know.
Herbie.
Get out of the way. We got big speed to hold,
Yeah, right.
whether
Oh
we
my
can
gosh.
handle it or not.
Unreal.
So, I guess this live stream's been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't been here for 35, so we still got another 35
Oh
minutes.
my gosh.
Unreal. Nah, we're calling it. You're bullying people.
No, but honestly, I mean, I've hit the points that we were kind of talking about. But I do have something that I want to put in people's minds. I'll probably post this clip on Instagram as well. And I'm kind of a conversation piece for next week, since obviously Drift Masters is over. They put on this amazing show. So what I think would be kind of interesting is just to compare and contrast FD versus Drift Masters. Which series is better? Which series do you like better? Which series is there pros and cons for each series? I guess we can kind of go over that, because I'm curious to see what people think, as opposed to whether it's the driving level, the tracks, or even the venues, or even it's the nationalities of over in Drift Masters, or the just pure power that we have over in FD. So, or even the rules are different as well. So it's an interesting talking point, interesting point that we'll have a lot of fun to discuss next Tuesday. But
let us know. I have a feeling I know how it's gonna go, but
yeah,
I think the discussion is important anyway.
well, no, and you can learn from both series, I think.
True. Yes.
But I need something to drink. I'm running out of my Gatorade.
Let's
Same.
go.
My jug is
Wait,
empty.
what was my cool fucking my cool thing? My
You have-
yellow and your mellow and my yellow and
You're mellow and
Oh
you're
my
yellow
God.
one.
Wait, hold on. You put it in the
I'm
group
pulling
chat.
it back up. Yeah, I'm putting it back up on. Where was
He
it?
makes fun of me because I drink mellow yellow, and it's like
I wasn't trying to make fun. I was trying to actually make a good.
It's just the only thing comparable Coke makes to Mountain Dew. Okay.
You said, if you ain't mellowing my yellowing, get the fuck out of my
Yeah. So like, I want it to be known that like, then yellow get the then get the fuck out. Like, I want the yellow and get the fuck. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the same.
This show's
It's
kind of
the
falling
same.
apart here. Hit the 2 hour
We're
mark
getting
and it
off-
just been like.
We're getting off the rails here, guys. We're gonna have to sign off.
I got 2K that I gotta play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Herbie's got 2K to play and a camera to figure out, buddy.
He's got to reset his entire computer.
I am not crossing that bridge anytime soon this evening.
I'm gonna see if I can get my mic proper and my internet speed proper for next time.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
you
sometimes the cavemen and women will come out and we'll get some actual internet from you guys.
Cool.
But until
I have
then,
internet. I have perfect fine internet. It was actually reading
don't.
890 megabits per second. And then I'm like looking at it and I'm like, damn.
yeah, that
With
90 bits per
no-
second really looks good right now, Herbie.
with no webcam is crazy. So I'm gonna plug my regular Sony in and use that again, like I was for a little bit, or try to use my phone. I might plug my phone into my laptop and then use that as an external webcam.
Malik's like,
skin
I'm the
is
actual,
sweet.
Nate's the actual caveman with the dinosaur in his room.
Yeah,
well, it's in the
literally.
room next to me, but yes.
He's got 2
Nice.
dinosaurs and then a dog and a kitty.
Yep.
It's got it running a zoo back there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I get bored, you know. It's nice to have friends.
And he's
Hell
got
yeah.
charity.
Where's my
Yeah.
son?
Right.
Where's my
fucking
super
son?
suit?
Where's my super suit? What do you need to know?
Oh my gosh. All
Sim
right,
tonight?
guys. I
I
think
wish.
I think we gotta.
It's
we're gonna
time.
end it here. I
Wait, let the
appreciate it,
people know
everyone. This was a
how
fun
was your-
show, and
how's your
Herbie keeps
PC
trying
doing?
to Herbie keeps trying to talk while I'm talking. It's great, you know. Just
How's
trying
your
to.
PC doing?
My PC is great. It's unfortunate that you haven't seen anything from it yet, but it's great.
Send the boy some pics. Your PC balling him over there.
Oh,
Yo, nice.
All right, guys. Good
Uh,
night. I'm gonna go eat some snacks and hang out with my cat.